I mean, 95, 100 bucks. I mean, that would be great. I am. Whoops. I closed the chart by accident. All right, that's fine. I'll just open it back up. Solution. What I wanted to get at was the only name I said there's basically, I want to be buying Broadcom and I want to be buying NVIDIA. I've done the latter. I've bought NVIDIA down there at that 118-ish. I think it was 118. We talked about buying NVIDIA on that DeepSeek day. So whatever that price was, I buy it in Canada on the CDR. But at the end of the day, huge move down for NVIDIA. Now big move back up. So as we keep talking about CapEx, guys, people aren't buying AMD chips. Like when Google says they're doing $75 billion in CapEx, this is where it's going. And you see where else it's going, right? We've talked about AVGO as well. Look at these names, right? Both up 4% here, 2.5% with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA only getting stronger as we speak. So instead of worrying about these dog, you know what names right here like AMD not even moving in the pre-market, because the thing about AMD is nobody wants to buy it, and it's so bad that it's just so far down that like everybody that sold it might already be full. So I don't like where the buyers and where the sellers are in AMD. Like the AMD shorts are already winning. They could be full. This thing could fall. I don't know who's going to buy it. But at the end of the day, we know who's buying NVIDIA. We know who's buying NVIDIA's products, and all hail, because this one just continues to go north side here. I'm excited for their earnings report, but it's not until February 26th, I believe, right? Let me just double check that before. Is that confirmed? Okay, so I'm not even going to look it up because sometimes we're pretty good with numbers. So February 26th there, we'll see if this can get back up. But look how beat up NVIDIA is. I still feel like there's some kind of a thing to look at here around 116, 117 for possible bottom there. So yeah, looking pretty healthy over the last couple of days with NVIDIA. Again, I wonder if we just sell these pops, because it's not the greatest environment right now, I feel like, especially with some of these earnings. But
I'm with you, Vic A.
If they're behind right now, the ball, then I just do worry. You know, you got a month here until NVIDIA. I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, more chip names to come. We got ARM tonight. Qualcomm actually reports tonight as well. Vic A likes ARM as well, which begins with an A, just like the next one on the list.
Real quick, there's news on BBAI we'll get to in a sec as well. First off, this portion of the show brought to you by Hive Digital Technologies. HIV, the ticker on the NASDAQ. They're pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions and Bitcoin mining, global leader in cutting-edge data center operations. With 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, Hive constantly tops industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy at Hive Digital Tech, or go to hivedigitaltech.com, sign up for their newsletter. BBAI just taking out the highs here. Nice move so far this morning, picking up a DoD contract to prototype geopolitical risk analysis. So Big Bear AI, for anyone not familiar with BBAI. So heads up there. Let's go to AVGO, another one looking pretty good this morning. So maybe AMD's loss is Broadcom's gain.
So here's the deal. So Google reported, obviously, as Sean mentioned yesterday, CapEx higher than analysts were looking for, and a lot of that will go to Broadcom. So here's the deal. They supply Google already with their custom-made chips, the TPU, the Tensor Processing Unit, which we've been hearing a lot more about in the past year. So that's being made by Broadcom. They're also looking to expand their relationship beyond Google. They want to make deals with Meta, ByteDance, Apple, and OpenAI. They're estimating growth potential here of $60 to $90 billion in a serviceable market from top customers. So expect possibly a revenue boost for 2025 when they report.
Let's maybe touch on Apple here as well, because we're getting on in time a little bit. China's antitrust regulator mulling a probe into Apple's App Store fees, specifically creating a potential regulatory hurdle. It's not something we haven't heard in the past. It's just a matter of if and when this actually happens. So notable 2% here, guys, downside for Apple today.
Thank you, Brendan. Good idea. Like for Broadcom, it's up 4 points. It's a bit of a gap to the 227 level, 226, 227, the prior high. I just like NVIDIA a little bit better today for the trade. I feel like it's getting going with a sizable runway to get to 26, 27 on any strength. You got a nice stair-step pattern up. I like 118. Obviously, we've just gone $3 from there, but that was the higher low that we put in yesterday. There was a dip into the open on NVIDIA, so I would, as usual, look for the initial dip buy. But 118 is now so far away. If it's not going to be support, then I like prior resistance turning into support, and that's going to sit at this 120. So I'm buying the dips in NVIDIA instead of Broadcom. As far as Apple goes, 226 Alamo for me on Apple. It bounced this morning at 226. It bounced yesterday. It bounced the day before at 226. So if you lose that, probably like 225.50, you've had some wicks underneath there. I think Apple's in trouble. It's a reverse through that level. 225 half, but as long as it holds 226, I think there can be a long in Apple.
All right. So again, I just think what I keep saying all day here so far has been patience. The market's not doing anything. We said AMD's not doing anything. Apple's really not doing anything either, but we are down that 2%. So I always say that. We just talked about Broadcom as well. Look, first of all, there's 20 seconds away. We'll get these imbalances. Yeah, I think this is another long. I mean, I just don't, there's not enough interest. Like right now, there's a lot of people looking at NVIDIA. It's moving straight up to the upside. This should be as well. I feel like, breaking through this 234 is definitely something you'd want to look at. And if you get a 234 break long, I think the 236 would be a decent spot to look to get something out if and when that does come through there for Broadcom. So that would be something to look at right there. Yeah. So I like the long there. I like the long here. I would not be shorting Broadcom at all. I saw Tesla just show up on my scanner there a little bit. Okay, so Palantir does get hit with a sell. So here comes the imbalance, and here comes the sell down for Palantir right now. We mentioned that, right? I mean, I said that earlier. There's AMD with a buy. I said this is when it was Palantir was up here, 102.50. I said with the Nasdaq being up today or down today, sorry, they might hit Palantir a little more. Palantir was only down 1.5%, now down 2 and bit. Chipotle, we didn't get to them, and we're going to go back to Brendo because we got to do Uber because that's moving around. Chipotle not moving too much, and then AMD gets a little bit of a bid there. Was at 107.50. I said, who's buying AMD? Apparently somebody is right now, but not too many shares. All right, I do not see. Oh yeah, there's Uber with a small. There's Uber with a small sell, but it made a nice move back up, man. This thing was down into the 65, 64 area, now trying to get green on the day. Not really. He's still down 5% here, Brendo, for Uber.
Okay, it looks like Dara has finished the interview. He was on CNBC. CEO, 5% though. I mean, tried to get it back above 66 here. It looks like it's working, kind of. We'll see what happens here as the market opens. But I mean, it wasn't all bad. I mean, they still beat revenue expectations, higher rides in the quarter as well.
It was a weak guidance for Q1, Brendo. That kind of pushed everything down. As you mentioned, revenue beating handily there on the top line, EPS as well on the bottom line, handily beating as well, even though they had about a $6.4 billion tax benefit. So that might be a bit of a one-off incident there. Net income, $6.9 billion. I think a year ago, we weren't even making profits in this company. So net income nicely up, $6.9 billion, up from $1.4 billion last year. Gross bookings, as you mentioned, up on year over year. But the guidance for Q1 2025, that's where it falls apart. Gross bookings lower than the expected number by the street. Now, here's how their segments did. Mobility up 18% year over year. Delivery also up 18% year over year. Freight remains the kind of the sticking point here, remains flat, 0% year over year growth. And there is the public launch of Waymo coming up here, the partnership with Waymo in Austin, Texas. I want to take an opportunity to show this. So Uber's opening up what they call an interest list. It's for Austin users that want to be able to use Waymo. It's going to cover 37 square miles in Austin. And if you sign up for this interest list, you have a higher chance of getting paired with an autonomous vehicle. Doesn't mean you're going to get one, just a higher chance of getting one. It's only available, though, for Uber in Austin, so we'll have to see how that all works out.
We'll also see how Tesla responds in Austin, their hometown. Remember, guys, hit subscribe if you haven't done so. We are, 20 away from 498 right now on subscribers, so go hit subscribe if you haven't.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
That's what it's all about. Thank you very much, Brennan. But yeah, we'll see how Tesla responds out in Austin. You know, the good thing about this is well, obviously the influence that Elon has, regulatory-wise, can they push through getting getting some of their ability to get their automation out there and on time, because we're expecting it mid-year. But it's an Uber story. It's already bounced a couple of times off the 64 and 65 levels here on Uber. This has been support a couple of times and in a while. So that's the first place I'd look for a dip buy on Uber. I really feel like we're going to be busy with NVIDIA, Apple, Alphabet at the open here, Palantir 100 as well. So there's going to be a lot to watch. I don't know if Uber is going to be there for me, but if it does make the dip, that's where I would be looking to pick it up on any kind of bounce. It's shown support there before.
Yeah, I mean, we nailed PayPal yesterday to the long, and it was a top stock for us, and it was only longs, and then eventually it lost $80, and we wound up getting out. So I feel like the same thing here for Uber. If we come back into 64, I'm actually bidding like 64 flat, 64.25. So if that comes in, that's what we're going to do for Uber. I'm not going to be looking at this name straight off the jump, but if it does come back into 64, then I'm down with it. I'm down with this name right here, Google. I think that this is looking pretty good down into the downside. Holding that 190, we talked about needs to do that. I'm still looking for 194 break, although the 200 period is now at 193. So watch out for that one. That could be the trade that we're in. Palantir long off 100 as well. There we go. What's up, Adara? Of course, this opening bell brought to you by Worksport. Check out them on the NASDAQ WKSP. Get that on your watch list. 2 and 1. Thank you, Adara. There we go. Okay. I guess we fixed that mantle. I don't know. It was.
It's okay now.
Yeah, so I'm it's better now. Okay, so here we go. Google making a move. Here comes 190. It don't look like it wants to hold, but there it is right now, right down into 190. I said it's a little bit early, but there is an initial hold and a bounce of 50 cents, and then maybe a break, maybe not a break right now for Google. There it goes, 189. Look at that. Big move to the downside right there, right? Instantly 40 cents there as Google loses 190. It may be a take back through 190 now. On that, I'm going to edit this, but for right now, there it goes, another take through 190. Google might have just bottomed. Let's
wow,
wait and
NVIDIA.
see. Yeah, go with NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, so about dipping into VWAP, it's going to require a little bit of patience for us to be able to get that. NVIDIA is now through 122.5 and continuing to go higher. Is Broadcom maybe available? Where's Broadcom? Okay. NVIDIA? Broadcom's dropping pretty heavily here. So NVIDIA up, Broadcom dropping down. Like going after, everyone's just piling into NVIDIA. Maybe Broadcom can settle down, get back above VWAP. AMD just broke the bottom. Palantir just came through.
Downside.
You're right. I was going to get to AMD, but Palantir's at $100, guys. So gotta pop over to Palantir. Oh, I still have that wick from yesterday.
Yeah, we just crushed, but I mean, we'll have to see what winds up. There's, yes, sir. It is your first Dollar Club winner right there, Palantir, off of the watch list. Off the sticky note today, as it goes back through $100. Let's wait to see now what winds up happening there with Palantir. A couple outs at 70, outs at 90, and another out right there for your dollar. Not a dollar, breaks through the dollar. Now it's a Dollar Club winner right there for Palantir. So another big trade. Big trade alert, Neil. Big trade alert. Over 10,000 watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Can we do it again? Yes, we can. We do this all the time, every day. This is your trade. It's right here, right now. Palantir, the #1 trade idea right there going through so far on the day. It's a big day there. I'm not going to say we're at our day goal yet because we're not. We're only halfway there, and it's 9:32. So far, so good on that one. As Google going the other way right now, down to 189. Tank City there for Google today, unfortunately. And then, wow, Tesla as well, losing. This was our #1. Actually, not our #1 idea is Google. That just didn't hit yet. Palantir, Tesla, I wrote down a short at 390. That's not in. And then one more play, and I'll give it back to Neil, was FXI. Sorry, I keep checking my sticky note there. FXI to see what's going on. That's 32.25. We're not ready for that one, but oh boy, good trading there on Palantir. Get up as high as 102.
The drop is real on Broadcom here. It's absolutely bleeding. Palantir just came back and retested the even dollar, but it's still holding above. But Broadcom is really continuing to lose the bid, and it's dragging NVIDIA with it. So I got NVIDIA pulling back here. I'm going to stick with NVIDIA. I mean, why catch a falling knife when this one still looks strong? So we like VWAP, but it's sitting about $1 away from us here. Maybe we'll look for some kind of higher low. With a rejection candle like this off the top, I think patience is required when trying to grab the bid. Okay, Google's at our level now. So let's get over to Google. Alphabet is at that 188. This is where the Alamo is for me, 187.5 to 188. So we wick that, and we're going to go into the reversion long here on Alphabet. It's not 10% down. That was
Look at
support.
Palantir, guys.
Adara?
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney here really strong off earnings. It got as high as 118.50, pulled back a little bit. But DIS, in case you missed it, they did beat here on their estimates. Their guidance for Q2 Disney Plus subscribers was a little bit lower than expected. So DIS pushing higher, guys. Back to you.
Okay, we are 3/4 to our daily goal right now at 934. So Palantir is just a one-hit wonder right now. There's that dip buy at $100. We talked about that. We talked about where our bid was. We take it. It's a nice move up for Palantir. We're out of half now, actually, of Palantir. So still could be a disaster. We'll see what happens. I'm going to get out of one more piece right now at 90, as it looks like it is potentially stalling out there. I know you mentioned Google was at your spot. I don't know.
Almost.
Almost. Okay, so I don't really have a spot for Google. I was still waiting for that 194 break long on GOOGL. You could trade just a normal one without the L. Just would be the same moves.
Little less volume.
We just look at the other way around there. So there goes Google right now, breaking back above 190. We can always have a look at that. But hey, man, I mean, if this market rips up, we've already done it already today with Palantir. But we want more. Give me more. Give me more. 193, I guess. I mean, I'm still looking at that level there. Nothing. I'm not in love with Google right now. The money is really being stacked up over there on PLTR. Now over $2 in the money on that trade, and we hit that with confidence because again, it's a sticky note play. So we really like that one. SMR also trying to go back up to the upside. Nice little big candle there right off the jump from 23 up to 23.50. SMR looking to extend higher as well. But man, oh man, Neil, this is a day maker already. We're already basically done now for today, as there it goes. All right, 80%, approaching 90% of the day goal right now. It's a face slap. Someone's mic is still on, Fabian. I hear it in my ear, but there we go. Nice move to the upside there. Thank you very much. 103 inbound for Palantir, Neil. Big trade alert over here.
Yeah, great trade over in Palantir. I just trailed out of it at the pre-market high just like a minute or so ago. But NVIDIA is right back. It just did it again. This price action is insane on NVIDIA. It broke 122, got to the $0.50, and right back underneath. They're dumping it over $122. It's not really staying there for very long. So if it can evade that, hold above 22. Let's forget about VWAP for a second. It could still be a VWAP trade. But if we can hold this 22 level, I think we got a little something here. Looking like it's trying to do it now. I'm going to jump in. I still like VWAP better, but I'm going to give it to the prior high at 121.80 or so. So we're going to put a stop in there. I still like VWAP better, but we're going to get some in on NVIDIA, see if we can catch this holding the 122 for the first time today. And Broadcom, just for everybody, I know we're looking at Broadcom and NVIDIA. Broadcom's still trying to bounce off the lows here. NVIDIA just much, much stronger. Despite the bigger percentage gain in Broadcom, it's NVIDIA which is trending higher and higher and higher. Let's get some out in front of 40 and see if we can get to that high of the day again.
Nice trade over there. There it is, another one. 70 cents in the money with Google, taking Google long. And Neil, bang, there it is, props it up right there as we are now at our goal there for, I mean, it's not a goal. We're just setting these goals for us so we can sort of measure where we are on the day and not get too carried away with ourselves. But there it is right now, daily goal met one more time at 9:37. This is what day trading is about. It doesn't have to be all day. You make your plays, you get in, you get out. There it is right there, two absolute bangers. We said we have to wait for Neil to hold 190 on Google. It did that. We went long, and welcome to hopefully another dollar club right there. We'll go 2 for 2 with dollar clubs right now. It's actually $3 is our max that we've taken there on Palantir. Well, sorry, $2.75. It does get up into that $3 area. There it is. Our best outs are right here, right now. So that's $2.50 in the money. And there it is, Neil. We are that person we think we are right now as we get another dollar on Google as it's ripping. Google, Neil, sorry. It is now $1.50 in the money with Google. And there we go again. Okay. Again, we have to have some kind of humility here, but at the same time, we need to tell you that we are now $4 in the money right now, Neil, on these two positions. We only have 2 trades today. It's $4. There it is, man. I mean, you can come to the club if you want, but it's open for all. I mean, this is a free stream that we have every single day. We did it yesterday. We did it the day before. We did it every day last week. And here it is again right now, Google with an absolute banger. And it ain't like we didn't talk about it, man. This is right here. Google, hold 190, take the long. It's pretty clear. And then Palantir also well discussed, well traded. These are major days, man, happening. And we're proud that you guys are here with us. So thank you again. I mean, Neil, there's reasons why we're hitting all-time highs with viewership, right? So let's keep this going, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, NVIDIA just came out, and we got three things happening all at the same time. In that 122 on NVIDIA, you saw me. I was locked and loaded for a reversion trade here on Uber. Wanted to punch very quickly on Uber, but you're seeing it continue to break lower. It's at that 64 where I'm looking for the mean revert, but it didn't do it. There's that 122 level again, so they couldn't end up holding it. I can show you the out. We said we take it once above and then wait for VWAP. So we took it once above. We'll jump out and look for the next opportunity over there in Alphabet. The other play over here is going to be, as I said, Uber is down at that bottom into 64. So it's already bottomed there twice this morning, looking for a simple mean reversion on Google. If we didn't really get Alphabet on the mean revert, so I want to make sure we can grab this. First time it puts in the green, holding the low, I'm going into the reversion long, playing in for VWAP on this bad boy, and then continue to go to the upside. The rest of the market's heading back into the upside as you're breaking highs. So Uber's at our level. Want to make sure we're ready for this revert. Just needs to break back and hold above the $65 level. As long as 64 doesn't break, I still want the long in Uber. But at any fresh low, I jump out of any reversion trade.
Last time you were here with me, it was $4 in the money. Now it's $5. We're really starting to get really excited. I mean, Google's at 192.50 right now. We like the 194 break. I mean, this has just been just a really good little moment of time here for trading. We wanted Google breaking back above, right? So there it goes, breaking the VWAP now right up to the upside here again. So we still have about 30% of each of these trades. So far, so good, man. I mean, Palantir has really been a game changer for me over the last couple of days. And there it goes again, right there. And it's just thank you for supporting everything that Neil and I are doing here on the show. Because I mean, picking winners like this and being this consistent, as we had that chat yesterday from one of the viewers, and they super chat, and they're like, "Wow, how are you just this consistent?" And it's just like it's just following basic rules and trying to show you guys that it is what it is. To take a line from my guy over here, it's just this is exactly what we're trying to show you. Consistency, ins and outs, how we're trading, what's going on exactly. Like Neil's long Palantir right here, and he'll talk about the play. I'm talking about the play now. I'm actually thinking the other way. I'm starting to get out of this long on Palantir. So why don't we go over there? You just put that position on and let's see what's going on with PLTR. But for me on Google, same thing, trying to get out a little bit. We did have a nice move to the high side this morning.
Yeah, I'm giving it right. So come to my 3-minute chart for a quick little second if we can. Let's go right to the chart. VWAP is here at 02s. This is the higher low wick at 101.40. This is where I want to play the base off of. As long as it can hold that, I think we're looking okay. We're at VWAP on NVIDIA as well. Uber is also continuing to fall. Like Uber did not make the curl, made a fresh low. It's still heading to 64. Still want to respect it. So on the 3, there's your under. If we lose that, we get out. Otherwise, we're building back long into the overall high. Okay, the high's at 103.5. 104 is kind of the target area for the reload into the long position in Palantir. And a similar thing, NVIDIA also at VWAP. It's just bouncing off VWAP. 121 also happens to be here as well. We said if it lost 22, we'd look back into VWAP on NVIDIA. And then the third stock we're looking at, only because, well, I mean, AMD hasn't really done much. Uber does the reversion. At the moment it did this curl, Palantir and NVIDIA both came right into VWAP, so I went over to those two stocks. But NVIDIA holding, Palantir retesting, not 101.4 yet, but it is certainly getting there. Uber looking pretty solid. If it can hold maybe 65 back down in, I could still get the same price we had before for the punch. But when two other stocks fill, you're not necessarily going to be able to jump over and punch that third.
No, exactly. I mean, this stop on Palantir was a break of 100, so we still needed that to go, right? So Google's coming back in right now. I see that you're there as well. Palantir just came right into that 101.04 area, so we do take a reload of that trade and put our stop just a little bit underneath 100 now, not trying to give anything back here on Palantir. And in fact, we just reloaded a monster there. So let's now wait to see what winds up happening at that area. So nice little little bounce back into that 101.40 area. We do take some out there in the 90s, and here it comes right back in again there. I see you just got out of Palantir, so I'm going to stay in and just see what winds up happening. But here we go, man. Palantir right now at that 101 area. Very, very risky business right now for PLTR. So we'll reload it a little bit and see if we can get that move back to the upside. But for right now, Palantir go boom in the night. Still number one P&L name here as we wait to see what winds up happening. But Palantir could give some back. We'll wait to see. Now 101.40 is where we're long. That's right where the price is. So giving this a little bit more room. We do have some numbers coming out soon. So services PMI and whatnot. So definitely a slippery slope here on PLTR. We'll see. If it breaks below 101, we're out of this name, and it looks like we may do that. We just got a couple outs on the top side there, but it doesn't look like it wants to hold too much right now. So I don't know what else is going on over there, but Google's coming back as well, down $1. Sorry, still up $1, but down $1.
Before we go to PP, we have numbers coming in less than 1 minute. So before we go to Adara, you lose that higher low support. I'm out. I want to stay for now green on Palantir. If it breaks 100, I'm probably going to end up red because I'm going long at 100 again. But we're still up on it because we obviously took a bigger move on the initial play. NVIDIA is bouncing nicely, but let's go to Adara. We have numbers in about 20 seconds, everybody.
Yeah, we're just going to be getting here the S&P Services and Composite PMI data. The more important data, the ISM PMI, is going to be coming out here at 10 a.m. We do have S&P Services PMI here expected to be 52.9. S&P Composite PMI expected to be 52.5. Both these numbers expected to grow by 0.1 on a month-over-month basis. Let's see what we get. Okay, we got exactly in line here for S&P Services PMI 52.9 versus 52.9 expected. S&P Composite PMI a little bit higher than expected here, 52.7 versus 52.5. Market continuing to push to the upside. Here is the NASDAQ. We also, again, we have more data at 10 a.m. with the ISM print. Stay tuned for that. But also keep an eye on ACB, another earnings name that's been really strong here. Aurora Cannabis actually having a 37% year-over-year increase in net revenues for Q3. We have Tilray and some of these other cannabis stocks as well rallying off of that, guys. Back to you.
Okay, not too much movement there on the number. Thank you very much, Adara. NVIDIA just got back to 122. It's doing the same thing it did before at this 122. You're getting a wath of sellers in there. I think we're going to get a chance at VWAP again. I'm just going to make sure I'm on the bid in case we do get that on NVIDIA. Palantir's still battling with the same area as, there's that wick. Still battling with the same area. So it did stop out underneath 101.40, but it's still at the same price. Still looking for that 100 ad if we're able to get back in there. And then one more for you, AMD. It's not doing a lot, but it's certainly not rising. Sellers here at 108. I was thinking 9s, 10s would be the short on AMD, but if it can't break VWAP, we should just respect the lower highs and try to jump on over to it. I wanted to be fading this stock if we got a chance. It just didn't pop enough. In a strong market, I would have thought it would come to me, but it's not doing so. All right, Palantir, time to you-know-what or get off the pot. Like it's still, now it's holding 101. If you can close back above 101.4, might take another shot at this particular level and not wait for the 100 on PLTR. I like the wick bottom, but you need to hold that higher low.
Okay, just a quick little look here to see. We only have those two trades. All right, let's check out FXI. So yeah, Palantir, I'll take one more shot down here at 101. I mean, I've just bought it. We'll see if it works out. I mean, we have some more shares. Okay, we have some more shares now to the upside. Here we go. So let's go. I don't know. All right, so we'll wait to see. I'm gonna try to get something out here at 50 if it does go up, because yeah, it's definitely not looking like it. If the sellers like get out of here like they just tried to right there, then we could have another decent winner on our hands right now. So let's wait to see what happens here with Palantir. We've been getting out of Google here. If this breaks through 190, again, we don't like that kind of a play through 190. So I don't know if that's going to hold or not there, but okay, 191. Okay, well, now we're trying to hold it out. All right, Neil, again, like big trade alert right now. Big trade alert on Palantir. Yeah, what Sharif said. I mean, this is a really, again, there's the reload, there's the confidence, there it goes, right through again on PLTR. big upside move, and looks like we're going to continue it. So here we go. Yes, Neil. Oh, yeah. This is actually a really big position. This is actually the same size that we had the very first time on this trade. So right now, yeah, we are a little bit to the moon right now, Neil. There we go. What's up to my guy Lincoln there in the chat, wondering why we celebrate so much. I mean, yeah, I would think that, you know, me and Neil just did a video about this. Celebrate your wins, man. And when we put out these kind of trades and they work like this, we are going to celebrate it, and you guys know, I'll celebrate a little bit. I do put on some shares, and when the wins happen, they happen, and it is a nice play, right? So we'll wind up seeing what happens here. I don't do this for myself. I do it for you guys and for the family. So I just come here and have a good time every day. I know what I'm doing, and as you guys can see, Neil, we were 7 for 7 on Monday. 4 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 2 here to start the day right now, and at 175% of our daily goal. So I appreciate all the viewers, and I also appreciate this as we hit record viewers. And I really do think there's reasons why, and it has to do with winning trades. Great talk, great content, great words of wisdom over there from Neil. So yeah, man, I mean, we all have our roles here, and I think it's pretty clear what mine is. So nice moves here on PLTR. Huge move right now. Over $1 in the money on Google, and over $1.40 right now on the reload of Palantir. So yeah, man, big trade alerts happening, and pretty proud of it too. So all right. Let me throw it back over there to Neil, as we still have some more numbers coming throughout the day. I actually got out of too many shares there.
Not yet, not till 10.
Not till 10, yeah. I actually got out of too many shares. They're at the 200 period moving average, but at the end of the day, pretty good outs. And yeah, Palantir again today, just like it was yesterday. At this time yesterday, I said it's going to be P&L number 1. It's going to be P&L number 1 today, because I think I'm slowing down on what we're going to do now, and just relax, take it easy a little bit here, because it's just been a monster day again. We're up more right now than we were at the end of the day yesterday, and we were 4 for 4. So, all right, let's keep on going here. That's Google, that's Palantir. What's good over there?
NVIDIA holding some higher lows, which I like, and it's not really breaking out. I saw in the chat someone's like, NVIDIA's breaking out. It's not breaking out right now, everybody. It's holding VWAP, but 122. There's still a lot of sellers. I'm trying to see if it can clear it out. I like the long over 122 if it can clear through this sellings. I think we've got more upside. It's a break of yesterday's high. I like support at yesterday's resistance. So I think you want to stick with NVIDIA. All right, here comes AMD in just a quick little second, but I still want to see buyers above 122 that we can add to, and then we'll continue to go upside. Obviously, we didn't really talk about Bitcoin. It's at 99. Worth noting, the 100 break was pretty good yesterday. I think if you can take 100, it would look good one more time. So still looking for it to hold 122 on NVIDIA. AMD is getting real close to another test of VWAP. If it can get to this 108, I think it's a short at that high on Advanced Micro Devices. And as for Uber, that's the other one that we're heavily tracking. Not going to get back to that 64. Might have been a missed opportunity. I'll have to fail on that. Went over, had it locked and loaded, try to get that punch on that mean revert, but if you're just a smidgen too slow, you're going to miss that kind of a trade. It is a falling knife, though, on Uber. You don't want to be punching in way, way too early. Oh, NVIDIA. There we go. NVIDIA still can't hold that 122. So we're going to wait around for VWAP at 121.20 and then see if we can't get more of this trade. Want to be adding to NVIDIA, not taking away. I see Lamel's also talking about Meta. We didn't mention Disney. There's a lot of other names out there in the market, one of which, as this chart decides not to load, is Apple. Apple 230. You guys can see where it closed up here. There was a lot of selling at the 233 level. If it gets up there, we didn't really talk about it, but if it gets up there, I think it's still a fade at 233. 226, the Alamo for me never came into play. So I'll probably throw that level out with the bathwater. Let's go to Adair.
Another really strong name here, Tempest AI, TEM. Doesn't got a price target increase to $74 from TD Cowen, and it is a Nancy Pelosi name. TEM here with a 22% short float. Near day's highs here, but rejecting that $70 level as of right now. Back to you.
Right.
I heard that.
Whether
you like or not, Meta $715. Meta, as it actually made another high at 718 and pulling back into 715. So super strong move in there for Meta as well. All right, there's the curl on AMD. So we're going to look to get short. I'm going to keep on zooming in and out, but I was trying to show you guys yesterday on NVIDIA, but there's AMD, lower high off of VWAP. So had it broken VWAP, I'd be shorting it at the top end of the range because it holds VWAP for now. I'm going to give it to prior bar high, just an easy way to explain. Oh, and this is on a 3-minute chart. So if I say like prior bar high, I'm using a 3-minute chart like this red that you just saw there. So we're into NVIDIA long, AMD short, which at least that's kind of how they've been going on the daily charts. So it's kind of not really against the grain when you think of it that way. But they could still move in concert. It's just they don't usually in the long term.
So here comes, we talked about getting out of some of the Google, right? I mean, we'll try it one more time right down here at 190. Our average price is 190.35. I'm not going to put on that many shares down here. I'm waiting for a little bit of a break of 190. Then if we lose 189.50, then I'm going to get out of Google. So yeah, just again, I don't really like trading names on earnings. But this one held that one. It didn't even hold the 190. It's just, I was like, let's see if that is the bottom. So once it broke 190, we just went hella long. And then that was the end of that, right? $2 upside. We talked about getting some out at the 200 period there. And then it fell back in a little bit more out there at 190, 150, and then out on the VWAP break. So now we'll reload it right here at 25. So you can see where my average price is. We're going to wait to see if we lose. I'm just going to see if we lose down here. 189.50. That's 189.75. We'll average it back in. Everything is fine. It's really just Palantir is just carrying the day again. Like I'm just going to wait. I'm waiting at 102.79 right now, just because that's kind of where we got out last time. That top right there was 102, 103. We have basically the bottom and some wicks at the top. I told you we got out of a little bit too much right here at 102.30s. It was actually 102.20. That was my bad, just doing too much there as we were talking. So we missed that one. All right, TQQ on a pullback right now. The NASDAQ is probably prime to think about a long. I mean, right there into VWAP. For me on the NASDAQ though, I do prefer the 200 period moving average rather than VWAP, but again, it's a nice bounce there. We're long the market, right, with Google and Palantir. I was just looking over there because I was looking to see what your positions were, and it's funny because like you're in the same sector, and I think that's the right way. Long NVIDIA, short AMD.
AMD's got
like a little hedge fund.
AMD's got a buyer. The hedge fund we need is the Pelosi hedge fund. A little insider information. No, there is. Well, actually, there is one. No, but there's buying in here, and I saw in the chat 106.75, 106.80 on AMD. That said, it's a flat bottom with lower highs, so the trend is still to the downside on AMD. One name that we maybe did not talk about, which that's my bad. I meant to go over PayPal as a day two play. Well, PayPal bounced pretty nicely off of 77.5. So it did end up holding yesterday's low. It's day two SSR. That play might be gone at this point, but it's looking a little bit strong. If this can take out 79, it might have a chance to go. I don't want to give up on that day two SSR long play just because we didn't get a shot at the low of the day there on PYPL. It could still break out this 79 area. Watch out for that. Bitcoin's no longer looking like it's going to break that 100,000 minutely.
Bitcoin.
So, when we're at 99, I was like, watch out for Bitcoin. I feel like every time it breaks 100, it's actually at minimum a good scalp trade at the absolute worst. So NVIDIA will look to see if we can get this 121, but every single time we get up to 122, the sellers show up again and again and again. So I'll reload VWAP on AMD and reload VWAP on NVIDIA and try to be a little bit more patient when it comes to this PayPal. But yeah, it might end up breaking out this 79, which I think can be a clean break.
All right, so we reloaded we reloaded Google. That just went into flat for us. We don't want to take that. We still think there's a higher move coming here potentially for Google off of that bottom. We did not get our reload at 75s. It went down to 85. Let's see if it wants to work one more time for us right now. Yeah, advanced money losing. That is right, Peter there. I do not like that stock, but I'm not going to go over it because Neil just did. Was that a call for Adara, by the way? No, okay, good. All right, so not good. I mean, we wanted Dare to come through, but I didn't want to miss it. All right, so 189.75. That's okay. There it is. So there's my last. Okay, looks like we could dump out here. We do have a position on. We're not going to go red or anything on the stock, but it looks like we do have this downside move. So happening right now. The market is giving it up a little bit. Obviously, you're
weird.
short in AMD is probably
No, it
printing.
actually just broke VWAP. It's counter market right now. It just caught a huge bid.
Okay, so
So it caught a huge bid on AMD. So whoever the buyer was at 6.8 seems to be right. I still believe in it. We'll wait for it at 108 higher. Don't mind getting out to get back in at the better prices. Ideally, I wanted shorts at 9s and 10s. That's not going to end up happening here, but you're right. The market is pulling back, and AMD heading back into said upside. The NASDAQ looking a little bit weak. By the way, I'm still bidding Palantir. Let me just cancel that. I have a general rule, like, why am I bidding 100 if it's holding VWAP? Because if it fills on a big gap to the downside, like you might not want it, don't just have orders sitting out there when they're too far away on a day trade. It's okay for the long term. But the higher low still looking good on PLTR. Did this wick. A better entry, obviously, is on the curl. I like reversion entries, and I took one on the way to the downside. If this decides to do another move down, trending down, then I'm gonna work that on a reversal of the trend. All right, this time you put up or shut up. This is looking much better here on NVIDIA, where you've got the nice little higher low. It's not getting to VWAP. It's still trying to battle the 122. If we can take out this local high at 122.40, I'm going to add that way, which I got to cancel the offer at 124 to be able to do that.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Look, man, it's going to be different for both of us, right? I mean, we're both going to have different ideas, different everything, different trading style. We make, different money and all that kind of stuff. So if you're gonna, follow Neil's trades, do that. If you're gonna follow mine, do that. If you're gonna follow none of us, do that. But please listen and see if you can learn just a little bit on some of the things that we've been doing there as well. And then you can always ask us if we're green or red on the day, and then that way it'll give you a good idea of how our trading is going, right? I mean, there's nothing else we could do. This is what it is. Some days will be great, some days won't. And for today, it's been another great day, but we just got to wait for these things to happen. There are numbers coming out. And look, here goes Google again. We tried the long one more time. We're able to get a little bit out. Stuff happening right now. Let's go over to Adara on ISM non-manufacturing.
We did get the ISM non-manufacturing, services data here for January. This came in here at 52.8. That is below the forecast of 54 and the previous print of 54.1. ISM services prices paid also below estimates here, 60.4 versus 65.1 expected. ISM services new orders lower than the previous print, but ISM services employment actually above the previous print. So just to recap here, that is a lower than expected ISM services PMI print, 52.8 versus 54 expected. That also follows a basically in line S&P services print. And we get the Qs pushing a little bit higher here. So that is the NASDAQ getting that pop above 583, but pulling back a little bit here on this 3-minute chart. Really, the theme of the day is going to be earnings outside of some Chinese ADR plays. Keep an eye on these as we do have this ongoing trade situation between the U.S. and China. We have Disney here, one of these day one's earnings plays, chopping around a little bit, basically reporting higher than expected EPS and sales, though they're expecting a quarter-over-quarter decline for their Disney Plus subscribers next quarter. Then we have AMD, which is near low of days, trying to hold a little bit of support here around that 106 halves area. They actually did beat on revenue and EPS, but their data center, while up 69% here, the data center revenue fell below analyst estimates. So lots of earnings here, guidance being really important this quarter. And we have ARM and Qualcomm and Ford tonight. Back to you.
Ford. ARM, Qualcomm, MS, I believe MicroStrategy as well. Not that they have earnings to report. I mean, we all know what they do, so it doesn't even matter. So look, NVIDIA did go to the upside, but that's not what's next. What's next, I got to figure out, every single time I type NVIDIA into my level 2, I'm always typing NVDAS. It's so weird. I make the same keystroke. It's annoying. But I was talking about not getting Palantir on a reversion, so break of trend to the upside and buying into it. Well, Alphabet is doing a similar thing. So there is your trend down. If it can break out above this price, it's hard to see because of that wick, but it's 190. would be the break of this bar high. Now, obviously, that's a moving target. Every 3 minutes, you're going to have a moving target on that level for Alphabet. So there goes NVIDIA. It finally broke out above the 122, so holding higher lows in the trend. The first shot we took at it was kind of breaking around that same area, and we lost, and we bought the trend. So I want to continue to buy the trend into 124, which is next resistance on NVIDIA, looking very, very strong. And yeah, Google might do the reversion soon. Hopefully, it's going to be able to give us that. Oh, we forgot all about this. I see you in the chat, Freddy 5000. This is why we have the best community out there. Remember, SMCI news this morning, production, yada, yada, yada with NVIDIA. It ramped to the upside. It just reclaimed the $30 level, big level on the daily for SMCI to be able to hold that 30. It's got a nice little base of operations. Volume huge relatively on SMCI. So if you're trading this, I think it's found a little bit of a base. All right, well, the problem with the reversion trade is you actually have to bust through. Google looked like it was about to do it. Now all of a sudden it's going to be a moving target. I still look for a 90 break, but if this continues to slide, it'll have to be a little bit different, maybe a lower price. And then here comes Uber as well. Same story, looking for it to break the trend and hold on to the low. So the low's adjacent to 64, and if it can revert this trend, we'll jump back into this, or jump into this one for the first time. All right, AMD, you're going to get there for the short. Maybe, maybe not.
Apple.
Yeah, AMD. Apple's actually still strong. I'm still looking at the same four stocks. I don't know. I haven't really flipped away from NVIDIA, Palantir, AMD, and obviously a little bit of Uber, which we haven't even traded yet.
Well, I'm going to get into Apple right here, pulling back into VWAP. We just broke. I'm going to try one more time on Google. We just broke a little bit lower there through 189, but then it bounced again. We were able to get out there a little bit and then lost on that last take. So I'm just going to try to see about Google holding. Again, and it's going against my playbook. We talked about why some of you guys are here and stuff like that, hopefully for the good vibes and the good trades, but also to try to look at different kinds of names. And I know we used to be different at what we do look at, but now it seems like we do pretty much all big tech names. But if you do have anything else, put it in the chat and we'll be there. The midday show definitely are all over all of these names. So I want to say a big shout out to the midday guys. Unfortunately, I mean, yesterday Rigetti was one of the top P&L names, and we had traded that live on the show. So if there is opportunities there, they will be there for sure. And we'll continue to trade those. But honestly, for me, I know where the bread is buttered, and it's right here. So we're going to keep on doing that. All right, so here comes maybe another one. I don't know. Here comes Apple. So nice move upside for Apple right now. We're long we're long 30. We're out there 55s. So it's a 30-cent winner quickly here on Apple on a little bit of a retrace higher. So we'll see what's going on now, Neil. Looks like we'll try to go 3 for 3 now. Well, look at this. Look at this on Google. Nice little pushback again on Google. So there we go again, man. Nice outs here. Nice trading on Google over here as it continues to go higher. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Hit those sirens for a little bit of a pushback now in the market. So there we go. Nice longs. We did get dropped out there. We did buy it back on Google. We do have a new position initiated right now on Apple. We'll see if it can hold. If this does not hold 229, we're gone. So a little bit of a dip by opportunity in and around 229 again. But after that, see you later. And then we'll see what happens at 228.50. So right now, market trying to get backside, but Palantir making that move back in as well.
I was going to hit. We'll get there in a quick little second, but there are some cannabis names moving around here. Just dipping off of VWAP is ACB. Remember, they blew out their earnings. I don't know if... Whatever. They had the jump up to the upside on their earnings, holding VWAP in $5. And as we hunt for the reversion, if I'm looking for a dip reversion play on Google, which is very close to it, so is Uber right now, ACB's doing it literally as we speak. There's $5. I got to see if we, you know what, I actually didn't check to see if we have locates on this. Not that I'm looking to go short, but I should have checked to see if we have locates or free locates on this one to be able to go short, just an off chance. But there's a reversion on an upward trend. Like it broke trend, trying to go back into the high, which is $5.50. I can give this to about $5. I don't like even dollar stops, so it'll be a number that's not exactly 5.
Here comes
You can always
Apple.
try to guess it. So there goes 1, and here comes another, and that would be Alphabet, which is trying to still close above the trend line here. Double bottom, breaking trend. I like that setup over here on Alphabet. We'll see if we can grab it. But yeah, the weed names are also in play.
We just got a pop.
See if we can
get
get
it.
In which?
Nah, Apple just broke through 229 and went right back up, and I did not catch the pop on it back through. So we're still long Apple. We talked about this going into 220. This is my newest position, so it's really the only one right now that I'm looking at. A breakthrough. There it goes. Yes, sir. Let's go. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day again right now on this Apple trade. So well worth it right now. 20 cents in the money for this. Yes, 30 cents. Let's go. Let's keep going higher and higher and higher. Bills can wait for a second here as we start to go back up to the upside. 229.33. Let's go for Apple. This is a big trade. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So there we go. It's going to be a good trade. Those of you saying like, hey, Sean will let you know if he's green or not. Yeah, we're green. So there it goes right to the upside. And by the way, I mean, that's the whole point of this, what we're trying to do. I'll also tell you when we're red. And right now, it's been a good little move. Doesn't mean that it's going to last, right? So we just took some out right there on the top side. We got above VWAP. We got above the 50-period moving average. So we're actually out of half of Apple right now. Good move there for Google. We're now 30 cents in the money, taking more out over there. And oh boy, that was a good little run over the last minute or so. We just got to the highest spot we've been at all day right there, P&L wise. But hey man, anything can happen. Neil, go pay some bills.
Let's do it. Are you a skilled trader but lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K, and start with as little as $20. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you decide or find which are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records, consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. Scan the QR code that you see right in front of you on the screen and check out propfirmmatch.com today to find the perfect prop firm for you if you are a trader. Trading with other people's capital is a heck of a lot easier. Not that trading with your own, there's anything wrong with it. All right, let's zoom in very quickly. A couple of things happening here. I'll get to ACB, which is starting to come back, and we got one fill on ACB, and now it wants to try to pull back. But there's our trend reverse on Alphabet. So this is what we missed on Uber, where there's your break of the trend, there's your hold of the trend line, actually wicked it almost perfectly. When it got back through 189.25, we jumped into it, just got some out at 70s, looking to get to the 190 level as well there. NVIDIA just came back and, ooh, this is challenging the trend line. This might lose the trend, actually. I'm trying to zoom out so you can see it a little bit better. So it just challenged the trend. If it breaks the prior bar low, which is actually 122.25, just double checking, I got my stop order in there. If it's 122.25, we're gonna have to jump out of this. We've done well on it on NVIDIA, but do not want to look gift horse enough. We've kind of been adding on the way up, right? Like buying, selling, but then getting some of our 121s out up here, adding back in at 30s, and then getting some out in front of 23, trying to hold for some 124s on NVIDIA, which for now is still working out to the long side. And then ACB, that's still bouncing off $5 in VWAP, kind of slowing down in volume, but that's okay. I mean, as long as it holds a trend, I like this. We'll get an offer out. I should have an offer in front of 40 as well. So everybody out there, if you enjoy what you see, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and don't hesitate in the chat to ask questions. I mean, I see people talking about Disney. You got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. We're trying to get to 500,000, grow that community so we can all learn together. Disappointed to see Disney go red here after one of the few names that was up on earnings. Disney is super volatile. This has gone $5 up and $5 down and $3 up and $3 down. Disney's all over the place, yet kind of flat on the day percentage-wise. So obviously worth a look for everybody. I think when you look at the higher time frame, you should always try to zoom out. It would seem to me this 115 is a bit of a problem spot. If it can settle down above 115, I think that would be good, but you're seeing it do the exact opposite. The market's starting to look a little bit weak here. Yeah, we're starting to look a little bit weak. So as much as NVIDIA was holding earlier, this 15-minute, let me show you the 15. We just lost our support again at that 122. So I've been adding on the way up, but that always means if you're adding on the way up, a lot of times you're going to tighten that stop up because I'm not going to hold the 122.40 all the way back to 21. If we lose 22, I'm back to buying the 21 level and then go from there.
Palantir is all the way up. Nothing can stop it. It's all the way up. I mean, there it is again. Boom. $1.50 in the money. We only took one piece out down there. But, again, you know, the show would be boring if it was just back and forth. Loser, winner, loser, winner. But there's a loser right there for Apple. Yeah, we will put a mark on that right there for Apple. And just to talk about, again, I know we don't show P&L. That's a choice. We're probably not going to do it. But what we can wind up doing is telling you right now that Apple, and again, you can ask us these things. If it helps you, you can ask any of us these things anytime. So I just lost right there about, I'm going to say about less than about 13% or so of what, so I lost about 13% on Apple right there of what we made on Palantir. So, and I'm just talking about in general for the whole day. So we talked about making our daily goals, making that. So yeah, it is a pullback, right? And we sit here, but I mean, now my LFT may be nothing because as you can see, Palantir is starting to go back up to the upside, but we sit on a prop floor. So learning about losses from top, you can get shut down if you're trading. It continues to go southbound and you keep adding to some of the losses. You can get shut down if you've given back too much. We've got 99 problems. That right now is not going to be one of them, nor is anything that we're doing right here. So nice move up there for Palantir. It just kept on going. We only have, again, we've traded some shares here. It's been a good day. We only have like under 5% left. This move right back into that area basically just cleaned us out of pretty much everything that we have. It's still going to be a good trade. If we can get 103.50, fine. We'll try that. But for right now, that's what that is. I actually just put a sell. So our only red stock there with this Apple trade there. I actually was just thinking, what about a sell in and around this VWAP? But look at that. It just came into the 200 period and stopped almost on a dime down there at 228.40. So that was a really good level there. I'm thinking about shorting Apple into 229.50. So if that comes back up, I'm going to start a position at 229.25 short into 229.50 and see what happens there. So that's going to be a trade right there. I am letting this settle down because we're trying to figure out with Google right here at the bottom. The futures are starting to get back up. Let's see if Google wants to go. We'll punch in some 63s right there. And right now you can see our average price is 83. So we actually put on a decent, actually I don't have that many shares. We put on a little bit more. Oh, we just bid and missed it. That's okay. Maybe there we go. We got it anyways. So there it is, man. We just got loaded up a little bit here on Google. I'm going to give it to that local bottom right now of 188, basically 25s. If we break 188.25s, we'll scram out of this position. But right now, it is a reloaded trade here on Google right here, right now. Average price 188.80. So let's see what winds up happening now with Google.
Yeah, so well, for me, Google broke that low. It's going to be hard. Intel's got some news here. I'm going to go there in a quick little second.
Oh.
Google will slap the red on it because it just broke the low. I just heard, I didn't hear the actual story, but Intel is actually popping. It's only had, it's definitely not adding a CEO or anything like that. So it's only up like 20 cents or so and almost green. But there was a volume spike on Intel. If it had been a CEO, the stock's moving like 5% in like a heartbeat, I would think. But Intel with a bit of a volume spike. ACB, which I don't want to ignore it, but obviously when Google broke that low, we wanted that mean reversion. It could still give it to us. It's still trending down. And the Alamo for me was 187.50. I believe Brian said he liked the 188, which, I mean, that's a distinction without a difference. It's still around that same level looking for, talk about Brian Shannon from the Aftermarket show yesterday. He was talking about an anchored VWAP at 188 on Google. So it is at that level.
Yeah.
I'll take any mean reversion in front of about 187.5. ACB just double dipped back into VWAP, so it's holding 5. But it's putting in a lower high at 530. I don't know why I zoomed out there. It's kind of blue sky setup. But it cannot seem to break the 530 level. So you're holding VWAP. I still think you got a chance to break out. Disappointed that it's only a 9% short float here on ACB. Feel like you would be doing a heck of a lot better if this was like the old days with a 20, 30% short float on ACB. SMCI still looking pretty good, but my eyeballs, it's not often that you get a stock as big as Google trending towards 10% down. So this is kind of one of those
What was the Intel news?
one of those mean versions. I never heard the Intel. I just heard Intel's popping on news. I didn't
Then I'm going
catch the story on Intel. I just figured because it didn't break the high, it can't be that big of a deal, but I didn't hear the exact story.
Oh, it broke the high.
I thought it did.
Yeah, no, it's ripping right
Oh,
now.
it
Like
is?
crazy.
It is?
I'm going to go short on Intel right now. I have no idea what the news is. Adair just got
Oh,
back to
yeah,
the
it did
desk,
just
so
break
she'll
the
find out if there is something coming through here. It's going to be a small position until we figure it out. It's just this is a big move upside right now as the market thinks about going the other way. So there it is, Intel breaking higher. I was going to realistically think about this in and around here, 1950s or so as an area to get out if there was any problems. So that will be probably what we're going to do. That high right there, 1955. I'm willing to sit in that for a minute to see what winds up happening. So that's what we're going to do right now with Intel. And if we do find out something else, we'll get it. I'm going to short another piece here at 37s. If we're able to do it, then great. We'll see.
I have it.
Okay, what is it?
Japan Lab and Intel set out to develop next-gen quantum computer. So what would that be, like
Yeah, that's probably
25
not
years away?
great for, I don't know, but that's probably not great for the short. I mean,
But if you're setting out to, nobody's even close on like significant. Setting out to just means it would take a very long time. So we'll see. Look, just over here to Alphabet, it's still in the trend down. It just put in a higher low. We're going to go up to Adara. But watch out, NVIDIA is also coming back into VWAP. I want to reload that as well. Let's go to Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Worksport, introducing a new discovery in the NASDAQ, Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport's a U.S.-based manufacturer, and they're rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. Also here, we're going to take a quick look at the small caps while we're up here, do a little bit of small cap recap. We've got IWM, actually great look here, getting that push the rest of the market got with those ISM data, which is actually lower than expected. But IWM, despite this kind of, I guess, bearish engulfing 3-minute candle, we've generally been pretty strong here, trying to hold on to that 228 level right now. BBAI, not necessarily a small cap, but a name that has been moving here. We did have some headlines on Big Bear AI this morning. This one is about a 20% short float. Also, Oscar, OSCR, this name is actually not a small cap, around a $3 billion market cap. But despite an earnings miss across the board last night, they're actually trading higher on the day, though they did reject that 1650 level a little bit. So a couple small caps to keep an eye on. I also saw this penny stock moving early today as well, ASST. So this is asset entities. Right now, there's still a little bit of a bull flag. No news that I could see in ASST, but it has rallied before. So lots of these smaller names on watch today, guys. Back to you.
Good old Astus.
Yeah, I was, so we didn't get that exact high there of 45. I'm actually waiting at 48 because I want to put on, I want to just see about this play here with Intel and China and supercomputers and all this kind of stuff. Because as my friend Sharif says over there, China, and we'll see there. Shout out to the new administration as well. Yeah, but we'll wait. Unfortunately, we do miss that top, but we're trying to be patient with it right now on Intel. I'll take the opportunity to short this whenever we possibly can. That might be a good opportunity. Now it's coming back into the money now, 5 or 6 cents. Let's just, okay, here it comes. Yeah, that's exactly what we thought there, Intel. You know, you can put lipstick on a pig, but at the same time, it still is what it is. So let's wait to see now what happens here with Intel. We'll take a little bit out, if we can, down here at 930. I mean, I don't know where this is going to go, but right now it does look like it wants to go to the downside here with INTC. I just put some bids at 29s and then at 28s. That looks like the bottom. Not a huge position. I'd rather get a lot more frisky with this thing if we can get up here again one more time, and then we'll just see about that top. Right? I mean, that only went down into the money for us. It did touch 28, so it was at one point a 6-cent winner. So, yeah, we'll wait to see if we get a retracement back. I mean, obviously the 200 period would be something. So if we can get everything out like around 2021, that would be pretty good. And then if the news is refuted or whatever happens, maybe we can hold something for a play back into VWAP.
It just seems like long-term, not short-term news.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think.
Quantum computing,
just got Uber
developing quantum computing doesn't sound like something that's like imminently fantastic. Like, it's just everyone's taking so long to develop. If you're like getting into this game like late, I don't know.
No, I think
I'm a little skeptical on that. Like, I don't think that's the thing that propels Intel in any kind of a short term to get off these lows. It can do something today, but anyways, SMCI, that's a real strong stock. Well, today SMCI hasn't been doing that well, but it's a very strong stock, was doing so already. There's your bounce off of 30. It just took out the prior high and is now trying to hold above. There has not been a dip. I think any kind of a dip into VWAP, any kind of a break of a trend to the downside, and then it's like revert it the other way. Like allow this is sometimes like what I'm trying to do, which actually Google's about to break now.
These
See if
futures
we
are
can get
just-
into Google. Google is starting to ramp. No, anything that were a trend down like this and then break of the trend, look long. It's one thing to catch a falling knife break of trend like this, where Google makes the bottom at the 188, and it's another to buy the dip on something strong, which is trending, like SMCI. So if we see that again, or even any kind of a pullback, going to look for some long entries on SMCI that look strong. ACB, not much changed on this name. I can't figure, where's my other one? I always hit, is it this one? I do
That's
have
a
it.
good one, yeah.
There it is. Yeah, actually, there it is.
That's the one.
That's the one that we like. But the same thing keeps happening on ACB when it breaks 530. It just gets to 533, 34, and then boom, the sellers come right back in. So buying off VWAP is working, but the follow through is a little bit tepid here on ACB. Up 42%, good print for them, but obviously I'd like a little bit more follow through. So the news trade was Alphabet and then SMCI. I just feel like in the market, which is coming to the downside, maybe look for some kind of a trend reversion down and then revert it right back into the upside on SMCI. You guys let us also know what you're watching, because I've seen a few people talk about crypto, which is not moving, and I just saw in the chat Robinhood. I haven't really seen too much in fintech today that was jumping off. And when you mention Robinhood, like there you go. In a weak market, you have something which is breaking higher. I've been watching Bitcoin thinking we get another 100 break. Should throw that one out the window. We're still at 98.4 doing nothing. Robinhood, on the other hand, that's a good one. So great look. In a weak market, you want to find some relative strength. I think some of you have found one with Robinhood. SMCI a little stronger. I think I'd rather join that trend.
Yeah, I'm trying to join a dip buy opportunity here. We've put this bid early on Uber. This bid was been here since the beginning of the show. And we put it down. We talked about where we thought we could get Uber today. It's down 8%. So, yeah, not good right here for Uber as our position goes red again in the long-term account. I'm going to wait to see if it breaks through $64, and then we're going to stop out of this. We will average a little bit more shares. So right now, let's just say we have 1 unit. We're going to get 4 units. So we do have another bid down here at 64.15. I think, or so, to get some more shares in front of 64, and then a break of 64, and we are out of there on this play. Getting a little bored with Intel right now, to be honest with you, because, you play off the news. We actually got the reversion, and it didn't go anywhere. So I'm starting to think, still willing to play off that top here. It doesn't look like that news is going to hit so hard right now. So we'll just play off of it trying to break through this 55 area. Yesterday's top. Okay. Whether or not AMD's news is good or bad for Intel today, AMD has sort of done its thing, which isn't much. It's high as 108 and change. Really disappointing with the way AMD is traded today. Very choppy. Really no trades there other than waiting for the tops or the bottoms. So disappointed with AMD trade. But again, Intel, where they are today, oops, that's Google, sorry, where Intel is today being up, seems a little, I know you've been trading NVIDIA, and that's still doing
Trying to hold
also,
VWAP.
actually.
I forgot to look at Broadcom.
I still like this one the best, man. I like NVIDIA.
Trying to hold the sneeze. I'm not going to see. PayPal finally broke that 79 level. Bit of a double top there. It's not a traditional double top, but it still is what it is. Remember, this is short sell restricted, so SSR is in play because of the dump job that it had yesterday. So I usually prefer longs on day 2 SSR. If you hold the prior low, that's what it did. Didn't get it, didn't get that, so we ended up taking the break. Overhead resistance is at 79.40, so scalp into 79.40, hold 20% for more than that. It's still, remember, no matter what it does today, just try to keep in mind what PayPal did yesterday. Like it was down, I forget the actual final percentage off the top of my head, but it was a big rejection of the 50-period moving average, a rejection of a 52-week high. So ultimately, I think this is like a little bit of a relief rally, not anything groundbreaking. And just to go back over to NVIDIA, it's trying to hold VWAP here. So you finally have made a test of VWAP. There's your bounce, at least initial bounce off 121.7. Like is to be able to clear out this 122 quarter and then try to catch it on the way back into the upside. So looking better, but it's not moving a heck of a lot anymore here on NVIDIA. Much better when it was like trending into the upside. Since you've broken that trend, the juice just isn't there. Like the tape is, when NVIDIA is going, the tape is just different. And when you've seen it, and right now it's not doing it on NVIDIA. That's the best way to put it. I was trying to articulate it another way, but that's just it. The tape is pretty dull on NVIDIA right now. So PayPal, we're trying to give it to this 179.4. We'll be out of 80% then, and then we'll look for a push higher. But legit overhead resistance from yesterday at that price.
Yeah, we've actually coined a term that you're looking for when I've been trading NVIDIA. It's going meme crazy.
There you go.
That's that numerous times, and you can really tell once it gets going. So yeah, you're 100% right on that one. I love when NVIDIA gets going. Okay, so so this is fine for us right now. Our average price is 43s. It's not like it's a decent amount of shares, but it's only because the price is $20. We're trying to give this 10. Well, now it's going to be 12 cents if it breaks higher. I don't expect too much slippage through that 55 area, but it looks like we could slap the L on this Intel trade because we had tried to get that reversion. It looks like it's not going to work out. We should have played strength. I mean, obviously, since we started shorting this, the market has been going up, but that's at the end of the day just an excuse because it is an upside push right now for Intel. So yeah, I talked about this. I'm actually long this in my own account, a little bit higher than this, sub 20, but in and around the 1980 mark. And I like it for a long-term hold, like 6 to 8 months. But obviously for right now, up 1% on the day. It doesn't look like the short will print out for us right there. But we do have a new position right here, and it is Apple. And yeah, this just popped right in. We said we were trying to short VWAP right there. So we did that. VWAP has changed, but right into there into 50. So we're going to see what winds up happening. There goes Intel. So we do have to, again, like what we talk about, celebrating our wins, our losses, all that. That's an L right there for Intel as it gives it back. So, it gets going back up to the upside. So it might have failed right there off the top again, and maybe we just wicked the top. So I'm debating, we can get back in at 53, 54, but not for too long. It's now oil is out right now, so we can find out what's going on right there. CL / here we go. The February contract should be what's going. No, I guess.
I think it's H. What's H?
Is it H? Okay, hold on a second. CL. H would be, March. Yeah, there it is. So let's go and have a quick little look to see what's going on right now. So oil down, good call there, down 1.5% and going a little lower right now as U.S. crude oil inventories have a build. Wow, a big build actually. 8.6 million versus 2.4. That's like a build of over 3.5 million barrels there. So that seems to be quite big of a build there, sending oil a little bit to the downside. So newest position is Apple right there, and we are back into Intel, seeing if it does break the top there. Adara has crypto, and I guess some numbers there with oil. Apple coming back in.
Yeah, it was just the build there. So crude oil, 8.664 million, as Sean mentioned. That is well be above the forecast of 1.9 million. It's also above the previous print here of 3.463 million. Gasoline inventory is also a build, and then a little bit of a decline here for these crude Cushing inventories and these distillate inventories. Now, though, we're going to talk some crypto. So Bitcoin, a little bit of a decline here. We've talked about the fact that we made this top on Inauguration Day, all-time highs above 109,000. We've had a little bit lower highs since then. Right now, though, it's interesting. We're really trying to hold on to that 98,000 level for BTC. But what about catalysts in this space? Well, we've heard a lot of price targets for Bitcoin. We actually got a very bullish one from Standard Chartered coming out here. Standard Chartered saying that they actually see Bitcoin reaching 500,000 by the end of Trump's term. They're saying that because Trump is in office, you have a little bit more pro-Bitcoin sentiment. They also are seeing a decrease in volatility because some of these regulations are going to allow it to be a more stable asset. The other thing here, too, that they said was going to be a pretty good look for Bitcoin is just the fact that we have these ETFs maturing. So ETF maturation and supposedly a little bit of stability, less volatility. Apparently a good look here for BTC USD to the point where Standard Chartered sees it reaching 200,000 by the end of 2025. So they're seeing about a doubling there in Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin right now basically flat on the day, hanging out around 98,000. Ethereum trying to hold on to, trying to get to 2,800, but XRP down in the day, Solana down in the day, BNB down in the day, Dogecoin down in the day, while Cardano is making a slight gain. So lots of discrepancies here. And I guess divergence in the performance for some of these crypto names, guys. Back to you.
Divergence. I like that.
Look, we just diverted ourselves on Intel, and we averted a mental breakdown because, like, we right there got taken out at the top. And then it just went whoops all the way back down. We got 43s and 44s. We put it back on. So Intel right there turns out to be a good one. And Neil, we do have another one on right now, and that's Uber. There it goes, man. We talked about what we were doing. Putting on 1 unit, then adding 3 more at the bottom. So there it goes, man. Uber going to be a top stock for us again on the day right there after one very, very simple trade in on Uber. And then, oh boy, were we 100%, 150% right there. Remember we said we were lost? We had an L on Apple today. No longer, man. It goes green into the account there as patience pays off one more time as Apple just comes crashing in there a little bit into 229 off of a 50-period short. So there we go, man. We are, that was an exciting little turnaround for us there, P&L wise, that is for sure. As we get a bump now, look at Uber, man. This is a monster trade there for Uber, man. And then honestly, the biggest position, well, I wouldn't say that. Probably my Palantir notionally was bigger, but one of the biggest positions for sure of the day was that Apple short right there. So printing on that, and yeah, let's see if we get some more outs here at 229.12, and then if we can fall in after that, then great. This market though, it's above VWAP, above the 50-period moving average. So I actually,
higher for now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take out a little bit more there. I punched some 19s there on Apple. Look, it's a 20-cent winner on a big boy. So. We're pretty happy with that one. We'll have to wait to see what happens now with Intel and Uber. But yeah, man, woo, that was a little bit of a sigh of relief there.
Yeah, sigh of relief. We actually bounced off 188 here on Alphabet. So it was an anchor from Brian Shannon. You look at the daily chart, it's going to be the same thing. It already broke trend. I'll zoom in. I don't want to do the zoom in, zoom out game, but that way kind of messing things up. But I'm offering, as you can see, in front of 189 now on that bounce. In Alphabet, PayPal just came back in. 279, it wicked the bottom, so I got out, but then look at the wick that this put in here. That's a real one. Rejecting underneath that 79, so I just kind of jumped back into the trade, give it to the prior bar low. That's like 93, kind of a little bit lower than that, and then we'll play it back into the high. So it did legitimately wick out, but with that kind of a rejection, let's just get right back in at the 79 level. I guess maybe NVIDIA might be going. And then ACB, the weed stocks. Well, this one anyway, it's not the weed stocks in general, it's just ACB. Trending upside. Now all of a sudden it's got a pretty distinct day-long trend. How many times is it going to reject this high? If it loses the trend, get out, wait for VWAP. If the range on a $5 stock wants to be 510 to 535, then that's just it. And we'll get out if it breaks trend and try to get back in underneath VWAP on ACB, which for now is up 45% on the day. So shout out to well, anyone that bought it yesterday is probably the best way to think about it, because any other place you bought it, probably not all that good. I just heard something about Cassava Sciences. So just to recap, ACB starting to head back into the upside. Google, which was going, it's hard to see again unless I zoom way in, just pull right back to the $0.50. Alphabet holding that 188, but it's not taking that next dollar into 189 yet. Still think it has a pretty good chance to go. PayPal going, that one seeming fine. It's Alphabet long that I think is the one that is a bit of a concern, but Google looking okay. At least for me right now. I keep hearing Cassava Sciences, so I'm just going to go over to Kava. In my ear, I've now heard it 3 times, and no, it's not moving. Never mind. 3 times I heard this stock in my ear, and it's not doing anything.
No.
Oh, it's Sava. This guy put in Kava like an idiot. It's
yeah,
Cassava Sciences to the downside, but that's not really a lot of volume.
All right. All right. So Apple coming back in. Don't I have a 229 bid? Okay, here we go. Apple is making that move. Nicely done into the downside right now for Apple. I'm going to get something out because Uber just broke low there again. So Uber will be a relatively flat stock, slightly red on it right there.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Right. No, that's great. Thank you so much. I went and grabbed some, I've already been chugging this water. It's really dry around here. Obviously, especially with that weather outside. But there goes Uber, man. Honestly, today's going to be a green day, but we've given back right now. We're back at basically our day goal again. So we've given back 50% sort of. As I know, Google's been red for both of us here today. That's gone through. Palantir, I think, is our biggest stock. And then Intel right now, I'm just going to wait. Unfortunately, it did take me out right there, and we were able to only make back 25% or so of the loss, and now we're still holding on to half of our reloaded position back into the short side. But to be honest with you, I mean, I would actually, with watching this Apple, even though I'm long Palantir, I am really exposed more to the short than the long. So let's just wait to see. And wow, look at that out on Uber, man. You got to take it. When you get that, I don't really know what that was about. Maybe chasing falling knives here, especially on earnings days. We've learned our lesson there by turning red on Google, also on Uber, right? So Uber, though, we're not really red on. It's just, it does make that move down. So we are red on it. All right, here comes Intel again. So just talking before we go back over to Adara. Okay, so I am bidding 46s, believe it or not. So I was just going to go double check. So there you go. So there you go. We do have a bid. Took some out there at 46. Look, our day is now getting back in now because of this move down with Intel and with Apple. Our day all of a sudden seems to be much better. And that's the thing. Do not hold on to losers, right? We could celebrate our winners, but you want to celebrate discipline. And that's what we did right there. And the discipline has kept us in this game for 20-something years. And, that's where we're here right now, being one of the head traders here, obviously, at Real Trading. So, all right, here we go to the downside right now. Intel, big move there. Google just came into 189 break long. So we took that long on the break of Google. Let's go back over to Neil or to Adara. Adara.
Listen up, traders. First month free. This part of the show is brought to you by eSignal. So that's right, eSignal is waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts predict with back testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. All in one platforms. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. And with that, I want to bring up Sava really quickly. I'm still not seeing any news on this. I'm not seeing anything on social media. The stock is actually very lightly discussed on social media. And by that, I mean pretty much not at all. But SAVA, the one thing that this one has is a 35% short float. So that's the only thing I'm seeing here. If you heard it in your ear, Neil, I'm guessing it might have been just because of that move down, because sometimes when these stocks make these unexplained moves, they'll get dinged on social media or on some of these scanners. So SAVA, as of right now, it just seems like a drop to the downside on no particular catalyst. While we're here, we're going to do a quick sector watch because market trying to maybe go green here, and we have some sectors that are green, including finance, JPM, BRKB to the upside here. Health technology really strong, potentially here in a little bit of sympathy. We have Amgen earnings are up about 5%. We also had Novo Nordisk. And then Eli Lilly reports tomorrow morning, so keep an eye on them. Commercial services strong, utility strong, communications strong. Industrial services has some strength here as well. The weaker sectors here are actually a lot of these bigger tech sectors. So health services, not big tech, but to the downside here, consumer durables, pretty red. Retail trade, except for Walmart and Costco, pretty red here. Amazon likely trading lower in sympathy with Google's CapEx. And then speaking of Google here, this one dragging down the technology services, electronic technology a little bit mixed. With that in mind, back to the guys.
We just want to thank Dara for all that recap there. I just got some out at 189.20 there on Google. It's not going to work. That's why I'm getting excited. I'm not getting excited because it's not going to work. I'm getting excited because we actually able to get out there. This is breaking lower. There it is. So we are just out. That's actually a flat trade there again on Google. We tried the 50-period break long. Wow, lucky that look at these outs. Just as Adara, that was a real out, 189.20, and then it just fell 50 cents. This is why trading bigger shares on earnings days can be very, very dangerous. You have to be sitting there watching the stock and watching exactly what's happening at all times, right? Like that was a big difference. Like if I don't get out there, I still had half of the position, and it broke back down below. So overall, probably an L. I mean, I was red on Google before, so I'm still red, but still not that big of a difference maker right there. We were able to punch out like crazy right there at 1945. Those were the lows that we've had so far here on Intel. So we're just trying to get back to flat on this trade as we got stopped out early, but then reloaded it back in there on Intel with just a couple more minutes left. 18 minutes until we go back to the show, but Apple is the last straw. I don't think we'll average it in again. Let's just wait to see. I don't have any more bids. I want to wait to see if that goes to the downside. I see I still have an offer here on Tesla, $389.50.
You probably can
I think I could cancel that. I just wanted to see where we got to. So we actually got as high as $388.50 right there off the open. So we missed that by $1. But yeah, Tesla, it's making a move back at least.
It's not unimportant. I've been in that situation where you have an order from the morning, you liked it on a pop, it never gets there, and you leave it in, and then you don't want that fill like sometimes at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I'll get to ACB, I'll get to Google in a quick second because Sean just went over that. But SMCI, after all that, it's back to almost VWAP and trying to make a break of the trend. So it's all a bunch of red candles in here, looking like it wants to close out above the trend. It needs to break 3180, and then Google. Hopefully, I'm zoomed in enough. Not really. All right. So Sean already mentioned it tried to get through the 189, was unable to really hold that. Once it failed 189, stop went into the prior bar low on that candle, which is 188.5. I know that's hard to see, but the scaling is what it is. ACB is continuing to rally. We like this for the trend, and we're going to hold it until it reverts the trend. It's kind of going parabolic now. We had a shot at VWAP earlier, but now it's getting even more parabolic. Just to quickly go to a higher time frame, the reason I'm trending it out, it's now at like you're pretty much at the 200 period on the daily. There's that, and there's $6. I think either it holds on to this trend here, or we can get all the way to $6 on a bit of a squeeze play. Only 9% short float, but it's going anyways. ACB. Let's go to Adara again.
Yeah, we have here the news on Sava, which is now bouncing a little bit. They just announced here they're terminating their Alzheimer's treatment study. We know that this study was mired in a lot of controversy, and actually we had Pharma bro Martin Shkreli saying that there's no way possibly that their drug could work. SAVA, regardless here, that was the reason for the drop from what I can see, bouncing a little bit. This just populated for me now, guys. So SAVA terminating its Alzheimer's treatment study. Back to you.
So I know, and we joke about Martin Shkreli. He knows his stuff when reading reports on biopharma names. Like that's his specialty. So I think the quantum stuff, it is what it is.
Yeah, you already gone bankrupt on quantum.
Yeah, but the biotech, he tends to know his stuff. Like that's where he knows this thing. And he called Sava. I remember when he was talking about Sava as a short. Like that ended up really right. So understand where analysts.
It's kind of like trading, right? I mean, it's like what we're doing. If you make
enough
enough calls, eventually you'll be known for one that works. And I mean, honestly, like that guy, when
he's Pharma bro, not Quantum bro, right?
I know. So stay in your lane is what I'm trying to tell the guy. And I don't know. I haven't tracked all of his plays like you have right there in the biotech space. But what I'm trying to say is that Rigetti, when it was absolutely tanking, he had a $0 price target on this one. And speak of the devil, we do have Oklo right now trying to go back upside as well. Breaking huge, man. Oklo, what a mover.
SMR.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's not quantum. I just said Oklo starting to go upside right now, up 5 and a bit. SMR also. We do have a big reload happening. We didn't get we didn't get 50s there. Oh, that sucks. I was hoping that we would have got 50s on Intel there on a reload of that position. Google now back above 189. Apple, I guess, I'm just going to look at Apple. We only have 15 minutes left, before the big guys come through. But for right now, I'm going to get another bid at 09s on Apple. We just took a piece out there at 15. And then mentioned to me there, Palantir was weak. I know. I'm in less than like 3% right now, and I just got a piece out right there. So we didn't hold that much back in, and I was actually just holding this because I'm trying to still get long at 101. So I'm trying to get long again down here with a 101 break. So if that breaks lower, then we are gone out of that play. that sucks. We just missed. Like, we actually had a decent amount back, even though it was only a 5-cent winner. We're only trying to hold this 5 cents against us on Intel. So Brendan brought us this name earlier, as well as some of these small cap names finally starting to move here later on in the day. Big Bear AI right now was moving from the jump. I mean, Brendan brought us this name at 9:30 or even earlier than that, and there it goes, man. Big Bear AI from 520 up to 620, a big middle finger candle right there. Boom, up to the upside, blowing up right now, Big Bear. And there's been a lot of people that have made some big plays on this, I feel like.
There's a chart on a small cap that looks different from what we're used to seeing when we talk about those small cap names. Like the whole down, and then you get like a little bit of a bounce, like the weed stocks. But that looks really good on Big Bear. I'm curious what the nuclear news is, because I saw SMR also breaking out of the high. But let me quickly go over PayPal and SMCI. So SMCI trended up, trending up. Twice it has broken trend. Downtrend should have had this long. It just broke trend again, so we jumped into long, give it the prior bar low. PayPal did something pretty wild here. And if you're wondering, like, what is going on at PayPal at that price? Well, this is where there was a boatload of resistance in the afternoon that caught it into the fresh low. So the 79 long was trying to play into this 79.4, and it just failed it a second time. So the long on the stock has really just been 79. Well, unless you had it early, the late long has been 79 into 79.4, and that's all you get. Now you're heading right back in on this name. So we're into SMCI. We're still in ACB, but that Alphabet, it's hard to see, but
starting to go now.
It wicked me out on that prior bar. So I had 34s long. I got trailed out at 46. And it goes right back above the 189. So obviously this one stunk all day today, despite even having the low. Still around the stock, even though I had the low of the day, because it just wicked me out the chance to make it back. Let's go to Adara again.
We're going to talk about the US dollar. Before we do that, though, I do want to mention this nuclear stuff. I couldn't find any news, so I went to look through what people are saying on social media, and there's a lot of discussion about this, specifically Oklo getting a lot of tags here. People basically saying that there's apparently some call sweeps happening with OKLO is kind of what I'm seeing, so it looks like some options excitement. And when I say people are talking about this, I mean there are multiple tweets per minute taking OKLO. SMR, not as much interest at all, so Oklo seems to be the one that people are really looking at here. The others seem to be moving in sympathy. The other thing I always want to mention with these nuclear names as well is the massive short flows. So for something like OKLO, SMR, NNE, we're all talking at least 10 to 15% short floats. Oklo and SMR definitely in that 20% plus range. NNE is a little bit lower. We're going to take a look at the US dollar, because we've talked a little bit over the last few days about the downtrend. And I put up the 15-minute chart because I just think it really shows the epic fall of this currency. So we had this gap up actually both Monday and yesterday, and we're not able to sustain it. We know there have been some concerns with tariffs, because keep in mind, we entered the week thinking that there would be immediate tariffs for both Canada and Mexico by the US. Then by the end of the day on Monday, both of those have basically said they're going to be delayed for a month, right? And then now we have some uncertainty with China. The fact that Trump says he's in no rush to call Xi also shows that we're not going to get resolution on this for a while either. So it looks like there will be some continued uncertainty in tariff land, sending the US dollar to the downside. If you take a look at this daily chart as well, this is not a great look. We're hanging out right at this previous resistance, turn support at 107.40. We'll have to see what happens here, but this seems like quite a dangerous area for the DXY to be hanging out right in right now, guys. A little bit of a bearish look for the first time since basically end of September. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Adara,
That's
but
not
we
bad
got
for
reloaded.
stocks.
No, so the only thing that we've been doing right now recently is obviously we're watching out for that Intel trade, but we just got more shares here on Apple as it came right in to our level again, and our stop is 61s. We talked about that. So 229.50 is where we're short right now. 229.48 just ahead of 50. So this is now about 17 cents in the money. So I am starting to get out. We have about a little bit more than half left right now. Still could be, I'm going to put another bit at 30s. There it is. So we are slightly getting out of this position. I do have a bit in the teens. See if we can pull this thing back in for us on Apple. What a funny day today, honestly. I don't take this day lightly. It was not the easiest day. I mean, and I think I got a little bit sidetracked. Like, look at Uber right now. This should be a 40-cent winner. Right, we stopped out, and I'm kind of glad we did, but it goes down to 70s there and then pops back up. So good that we got stopped out at O's and didn't wind up losing anything, but now it's 50 cents in the money. You know, Palantir, again, like was a great trade, and this is going to be a big trade. Not as much as we made yesterday, but a good back-to-back day 2 play. That just came up to VWAP. Feel like we could have done better getting out there and or reloading it here. So that was a potential problem. But Apple right now it's going to take over PNL2, obviously, but at the same time, like this could break higher if the futures want to take 21.6. I just feel like if we're going to look at the triple Qs right now, because we're off the show pretty soon, this can get going right back up to here on the Qs. And I think that, a break of 525 really sends the market through here. And then we've already had bad earnings, apparently, right? From Microsoft, from Google, from Apple. Like they've all now been absorbed into this market that we see every day. So now we just have to look forward. If the earnings are in the rearview mirror, then what's still to come? We still have got Amazon and some names that I know the market likes. So we'll have to wait to see now what's happening. And even right now, look at Apple just pulling back upside here. I feel like this market, and we started the day a little redder than where we were right now.
Nuclear names are still going. This is
okay. Yeah, Neil on the nuclear names. They're going apparently nuclear.
That's 100% nuclear.
Yeah, crazy.
So SMR here, just to contextualize this,
Apple
it already went $1.40 from the bottom and then broke out this local high at, of course, 24.20, because why not 420?
Yep.
And then look at the gap that it has. It's a huge gap, another 10% higher in Oklo. I want to see when they report. Neither one of these report anytime soon. OKLO at the end of the month. But this is a bigger break on OKLO, just by a little bit. But look at this move. Like, it's just continuing to go higher and higher and higher. I love the nuclear names myself, but a little surprised to see this much action. Let me just go back over to SMCI, because we took this one off of that VWAP reversion on SMCI. It's running into trouble. He's gone. There was a refresher at $32. So the difference between a refresher and like an iceberg order or just a massive size order, like it would actually print the level, and then someone would just throw orders back on that are really small, like a few hundred shares here, maybe 1,000 shares. They would print it all, and they just come back. So it was kind of holding it up at 32, but it's now just blown through it. So revert in, revert out. If it's going to be trend down, if it does anything, and I don't think it'll be this parabolic the third time, but if it reverts any kind of a trend like this, I would get out of that trade. ACB still looks good. Got to figure out a way to get into these nuclear names. And I got away from AMD. Oh, ACB just trailed out. I got away from AMD, which I think was a good thing. We're shorting it at VWAP. It broke VWAP. It's now getting to that high. So the actual high is 108.70. If it reverts trend at 108.70, I would look for another short. But I had to be patient. If it's not going to hold VWAP under, then I wait for the actual high of the day. And then last one, we only have 5 minutes to go. What a morning. ACB just broke its trend back in. So if it held VWAP before, let's look to try to buy the dip off VWAP again. Let it make the bottom, buy the dip off VWAP, and see if we can get a hold into the high of the day one more time. There. Thoughts on Rivian, says Daniel, and Felipe asking about Meta specifically. I know my answer on Rivian already, $12. So it's not doing anything today, but the reason I can say that without looking at the chart is because I've seen the chart. So 12, actually a breakout could happen here maybe do like 13 change. But $12 has been like the buy zone recently on Rivian. And on a downward trending stock, usually you want to catch the low, ideally.
Yeah, cash that trade outside. Okay, so I just all right, so Apple, by the way, good outs. Like Apple right now is cruising to a new high. Right now, I feel like it's going to take out this 230. We almost just did right there. So out at that 229.60 break, we talked about that. And now that 230.60 comes into play now. I mean, Apple was beat up. It was one of the red names there today. Fighting that trend now might have just stopped in and around that level there of 230. But the futures are just right now topping out. Let's see, 21.6. We're kind of at these levels that we had just talked about. This could be a nice run now northbound here for the NASDAQ. So be very, very aware and capable that this could be a break long right now. We're 4 cents out on Intel. We're going to give it a little bit more room to the upside because, again, just don't want to stop out immediately on this trade, but There it is. So our best ins has been 60s, it looks like right here. I just took a 50. Was that a 58 or a 59 I just took there as an average price? I just took some more 58s there on Intel. So giving it a chance to work its way back into the 50s again. If that can happen, good on us. But no guarantees of that as we fight that stupid news story there about, not stupid, only because I'm short. It's great if you're long. The Chinese, their supercomputer, quantum computing. One thing that we didn't get yesterday was, of course, what is for
This looks very promising.
Yes.
Very promising.
Very important there. It is today. Pretty good, I think. Could be good, yeah. Indian spiced chicken drumsticks with a cucumber raita. Must be some kind of a sauce, I guess. Steamed basmati pilaf with snap peas and umami dressing. We'll wait to see, but that should be good. I just wondering what I ran into the delivery guy today, and he's like, "Oh, hi, Sean. How's it going?" I was like, "Oh." I was like, pretty good, not too bad. How are you? And he said, great. And then he told me, he said, "Oh, don't worry. I told the boss, I guess that's the chef there, that you like tuna on your salad." So I was like, all right, thank you. And so we'll see what comes through today. I don't remember telling him that, but I'm guessing he might have got it from our lady of Lunchland there. Okay, so right now, Intel does make a little bit of a pullback in. I am bidding a little bit at 55s, not that much. I just trying to basically absorb some of this pain so far here on Intel. Would love a move back in, and we do have a position right now. It's too bad because Apple actually gives us that whole pullback. So we get stopped out, and look what Apple's doing right now. Tanking, basically, like 230 down, 70 cents straight down there for Apple. I just wish Intel would do that. But we'll wait to see now what's going on with Intel. So shout out to our caterer as, it's been pretty, I've been pretty happy with things lately, so all good on that front. I was looking at Apple, but it's Intel right now that's on my mind. Looking for 55s, and my next bid after that is 50s, and then we're into the low 40s to see what happens with that one. But that is what's for lunch. We haven't had the menu in a couple days.
And we're happy to bring that to you, and hopefully our salad is going to be delicious because we don't get that spiced chicken drumsticks, which sounds so incredibly good. We'll probably get some
you get one,
egg salad. No, I'm gonna steal one off the tray, but the egg salad that I'm probably gonna end up with my salad is gonna be tasty as well. So
you're gonna borrow one. We'll put it back next time.
Let me hold a drumstick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no issues with that. There's always plenty. Like, I joke about it, but we always get some.
What's the Algo Boy?
The Algo group does eat a lot of food. You're right, Sharif.
There's two of them, and it's like they eat for 40.
Yeah, well,
plus Brancos. Remember when Captain Protein
when Baxter was here, he wasn't messing around either.
I told Baxter, eat everything, man. How do you think I want to pay for his food?
Sean's son was in the Algo room as well. And let's just say that when he was here, you wanted to make sure you got your lunch quick. I'm just throwing that. He's a growing boy. I don't begrudge anybody. Get that, get it in, man, when you're growing. Just one, it's 11 o'clock already. If AMD fails, it's not the high of the day per se because pre-market it was all the way at 110, but it is right up at that top. And I was just in and out flat on a trend break, but I'm like, it didn't break the trend. I don't know what I was seeing on my chart, but it didn't break the trend. So I just got in and out, punched in and out, paid like actually the spread and some fees. But if we fail this high and come back under, it'll be a trend reversal for me on AMD. It is 11 o'clock. They are the Bash. What? They are the Bash Brothers. It is Sharif. It is Showy Options. Go get them, boys. It is Midday Madness and Learn to Trade.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the office. Welcome back to a brand new day of trade. Wednesday, February 5th. How are we feeling out there? Beautiful day. We've got a little bit of an overcast sky. We are probably feeling a little bit cozy today with some cloud cover and not much sunshine beaming through, which is a-okay. We'll light a candle. We'll have a nice relaxed session here this morning. That's just fine. But good morning. Welcome one, welcome all. Hopefully your day is off to a fantastic start, and we're here to do the rest of the morning session together. We're here to build a game plan. We're here to get the job done. So, you guys know there's a very specific order to the show. If I scroll on up to the tippity top of the chat, let's check in with who's here this morning. I think I've got the tippity top preserved. We have Mickey, I Spy, Cipriano is here, Rockin' Profits. Roger Tutt is in the building, Robert C. Maxime, Jim Robitaille, Jeffrey Green. Julius is here, Ruthless Miss. We have the 9mm Trader, the Fade Doctor E.T., Benjamin Israel. We have Have047, Safe Options Trader. Jackson B is here. Oscar H checking in for the trifecta. We have multiple manipulations. Julius, good morning. The Giggling Bear, John Carr. Starledge Pacer. Deepa is in the house. Ivan Smith, Chino. Nelson Gomez. Arnon, yes. We have Jetsa. Frank Y, Gucci Sasha, Ginger, Nettle, Foraging. Good morning. We have Just Jay today, John Taylor, The Felon Friendly Trader, David from Day Trading Knockout. We have Seven Sisters, Oscar Vince for Victory checking in. Scotty Clackle, a.k.a. Scotty Maserati, is in the house. Joe Money, Mad Dog, Infamous Stacker. We've got, I think we got Seven Sisters, but we'll say it again because the name is great. We have Giancarlo, Elizabeth, Rock Hard Fitness, John T, Wayne, Lazo, Timothy Bond Bondic. We have Goofy, Pete and Repeat, the most classic name there ever was. Happy Hump Day indeed. Wednesday, halfway there. We're halfway there. Jamie A, J Mo, JC, our senior news correspondent, Dylan C, TK Qua, Mickle, Beth Jezos. We have Midday Mishap, Darth Trader and Luke. Jimi Hendrix is going to play us a lick. Elizabeth S, Teacher Russell, of course, Juan Angelo, Eugene. We have Paul Franklin. The BMW is here. We've got Aldo, Rob Pope, Pajama Trader 101. Oscar L completes the trifecta. We are all set on the Oscars, although we do know that there's an additional Oscar. There's an Oscar S somewhere out there who may or may not be here with us this morning. We have Zeph L, SCG, INF the based homie, Paul B, Britt Fisher, how are ya? We have So You 812, American Psycho, tippity top of the morning to ya. Winning Loser, Danny G, Chris L, Don Hill, Brian Rutherford. We have Eric S, Astro, Rich Millo, Wayne's World, Federico, Hang Flyin', Brian Baldessari, Desert Dean, Useful Peasant, The Realist, Cosmic Cells, David Ball is in the house, Patrick B, Wendy G. We've got one tenor. Tyrion, Darian. Who else? A couple more, and then we'll move this thing along, shall we? Adasa, Julius, Claytonio, Two Phones, Kevin O, right back at you, AI Go Duke, or Al. I can't remember if we sorted out if that's an AI or an AL, like algorithm. Lotto Trader, Curtis Webb, Orange Grass, Jeremy Lynn, NASDAQ Ninjas here, Jim Fury. We have Gabriel G is in the building. Gus Abbey, the Opossum of Wall Street. Andy Hawkins. Emmanuel. Srini. Jiresh. John Carroll. Arnab. Elevate Energy. Mauricio. Don P, a.k.a. Sticky D. We have the Gourmet Bean. Mac D. Inder. The Windowverse, Making Money, Moving Money, Grape Juice Media, Kent Hughes, HT, Jaunty J, Tony DeLeon. Any relationships or any relation to K at all? I think that's the same last name. Like our Fishers, multiple Fishers in the chat here. Ben R, Marty Luce, Kevin C, Anton V, X Stacy. Good morning. The list goes on and on. We'd be here all day. We would be here all day if we had to give shout-outs to every single person, which we do a pretty decent job of, I would say. We try to make sure we get everybody in there. So let's get the show on the road. Let's get this party started. We know that today is pretty interesting. There's a lot going on in the pre-market here. Notably, we have this Apple probe taking place. We have Google earnings, AMD earnings to talk about, Uber this morning, Disney, Novo Nordisk. I mean, there's a lot going on out there. And to top it all off on the economic calendar, what do we get at 8:15? None other than the ADP non-farm preview. So that's in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and we have the ADP non-farm preview looking for 148,000 versus the expectation at 122,000. So not really expecting massive contraction. I mean, the forecast is definitely for an expansion from prior. And if that's the case, that's a pretty strong read here from the ADP non-farm, adding more jobs at about 26, 25. February, we will have to wait and see rate month over month. So we're watching out for that. All right, that's what we have. More Fed speak.
Both, right? Once you hit that 500K, that's a massive new milestone, and then sure enough, you can just continue to soar from there. But guys, we're in some Google here. I'm looking for this thing to bounce a little bit. As of right now, it's not doing so, rejecting the volume weighted average price almost to a T. So let's see if this thing can move. I mean, if you look at it from a daily perspective, we're running into some key support levels here. Are we going to bounce off this 188? Maybe. But what if also we breach to the downside? So we have to be prepared for that. 189 and change, I'm going to have to get out here. Or sorry, 188 and change, I'm going to have to get out of this trade and look to reassess the situation, because Amazon is continuing to the south side. So officially, Burden and I were talking in the chat. I said, hey, man, maybe it's a sympathy play with Google here on Amazon just due to the cloud services, right? So the street looking for that growth within, even though it's still there, it is starting to dwindle in Google, but also in AWS as well, too. So that's where maybe you can see a little bit of effect in Amazon stock price as Google continues to the south side as well, guys. But I still think they're going to knock it out the park on their earnings report, which I believe is this Thursday. So looking forward to that one. But yeah, as of right now, sitting in this Google, hopefully that we can pull back a little bit back towards the volume weighted average price as I mentioned before. If not, then yeah, that's it for that trade. NVDA failed the break. Yeah, me and Branks got a nice swing on that one. So looking for that to hit 125 and change, and I think it will. Let's take a look at NVDA from a daily perspective and see what we got going on here. I mean, we were talking like 114. This thing was an absolute steal. I don't know if you see that price again. I could be totally wrong. But if you were grabbing it around these levels at the low, then congratulations to you. I told you guys I had a swing from 127. It dropped down to 122. I'm like, yeah, let me get out of Dodge here and see what else I can do. So then what I do, I just bought it a little bit lower now. So that's working out really nice. Looking for us to enter this gap on NVDA. I mean, they don't report until next month as well, too, Sharif. So that's one thing we have to look forward to. AMD wasn't, I mean, I think Brian Shannon had such a valid point on AMD. The stock is just dead, and it's going to need a lot for this thing to turn around from a daily perspective. So it's going to need to have some really big surprises on their earnings reports. So now you have to wait another quarter unless some massive catalysts come in between there. But as of right now, that's not something I'm going to be looking to buy the dip on, because if we pull up the AMD chart here and you continue to buy the dip, well, like, when did you start buying the dip on this thing? Because it just keeps dipping, and yeah, it's not looking too good if you ask me. Now punching through some key support levels as well too. So I know he likes to use the Katina man likes to use the reference of essentially dead money, but we're back at November of 2023 levels. So unless you got out at the top or you've been in bag holding since then, it's not looking too good for you on AMD, my guy.
AMD. Okay, let's do this. We're involved already, guys, in a trade SLXN, up 32%, give or take. It holds VWAP like a dang T. No, it didn't actually wick below it, but that's fine. I want to do that for a fact. No, seriously though, it's a good-looking chart for resistance flips to support. Here's what I'm talking about: $1.52. You can see we topped out there, whiffled and waffled at that $1.44. Then the volume stepped in, and then we made that high day into 172. Lo and behold, after we made that high day, Ram, we dropped back into 152, and lo and behold, we held 152. So this area of resistance flips to support. I like the look. It's putting in higher lows. It's still off the high, though, at the $1.72. We have already taken a print here up at 65s. Now I'm waiting at 64s. We took a print at 64. I'm now waiting at 66 and 68. Let's see what this one does. I've also set up a dip trade on Aurora Cannabis. I was trading this in the sim in the morning. I trade in the sim in the morning, and then when I get into the show, I'm trading live. So I was trading this one quite successfully with Neil. I know he was involved. He had a long there at 511. So I'm looking at getting it at 525, and not just because I'm born on 525, but that's where VWAP is. Yeah, bro, I'm so superstitious like that. So I'm looking for the VWAP dip on Aurora Cannabis, and that happens to be a little bit lower than 525. It's like 518, give or take. So we're gonna set up the order there. Come what may, we're gonna look to weasel into Aurora Cannabis. I'm also looking at Big Bear AI. Shout out to AK in the chat for bringing this to my attention. I already knew about it because Brendo talked about it in the morning. Adara brought it up again when she did the small cap recap. So this is holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart like a dang T. So I'm thinking here, are we due for a pullback? I'm not really sure. It looks awfully strong at these levels. It's looking to take out high, so we're definitely looking at Big Bear. But guess what? I'm looking at SMCI, SMCI. Get it, Adara. And the reason I'm looking at that, because we got into VWAP. This thing's up 7.5% on the day. Apparently, they're putting Blackwell together. Things are good again in wherever this company operates out of. I think it's Silicon Valley. So we're at VWAP right now on SMCI. We just bottoming tailed into $31, and then we bumped up again. We're still putting in, though, lower highs and lower lows. So we haven't changed the trend in that regard quite yet. But I think I'm going to weasel in here with small share size. There we go. Oh, it didn't even let me in. Crap. Why is this thing so spready, bro? All right, there we go. We're going to take the print there. There we go. So now we're long. So I'm going to give this to 15s. Let's go 31 15s, and then we're going to give this one about a 10 penny range to the bottom there. So we're long 43s, Joseph. Let's wet the beak at different incremental levels and see if we can extract some profits off SMCI for a VWAP hold. Let's see how that one does. Okay, back over to SLXN before we send it back to Joseph. Just got another print there at 66. It topped out at 67. I'm now waiting at 68, and then I'm going to put another order at 70. Joseph, how goes on your side, my man?
Good stuff there. A lot of us in the chat are just talking about some AMD, and just take this in. What I'm about to say is from my perspective. So I mentioned to you guys multiple times, like, yeah, I'm not trading NVIDIA, I'm not trading this and that. But that's just due to my style, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this. So a stock like AMD, you're not going to get that buyer exuberance, as Shreve likes to say, and the pops aren't that strong. Okay, so in my opinion, it doesn't fit my system, right? So the best thing to do for your trading system is to avoid the things that are not working and have proven continuously not to work. AMD for me is one of those, and so was NVDA for a long period of time when it was stuck in that consolidation phase. So just forget about those stocks, right? And then find things that are working for your system. Look for relative strength. I mean, if you're a short seller, then by all means, this is what you want to trade. AMD and the likes of some of these other weaker stocks. But for me, AMD and NVDA were not equal to my playbook, and it wasn't working for me. So it's best that you just forget them and then find stocks that are working for you. It may take some time, and you will take some losses in between that just to figure out, hey, this isn't working. And then you just go and you look for relative strength somewhere else in the market, because as Jimmy Cramer likes to say, there's a bull market somewhere, and you just got to find it. And that's part of your day job, I think, if you want to be a permanent trader. So if you want to be a trader, you got to find where stocks are strong and avoid the ones are not. Like, I know AMD is a really popular name, but let's get real here, man. The chart, unless you're a perma bear, that thing sucks in my opinion. So I'm just, yeah, it does, man. So it's not something that I would be looking to trade. So look to implement that into your system if you're looking to just avoid things that aren't working for you. So find what's not working, and that's why we do the data collection as well too. Imagine we did a trade taking long AMD every day at 1 o'clock. Chances are we would be negative. So what do we do from that standpoint? See you later. Like, we're not trading you anymore. So that's just how I think about it, and that's just over my years of experience of what I've learned. If I want to be more consistent, then that's what I have to do. I got to find things that are stronger and that equal to my trading system. So AMD will break above 110. I mean, yeah, it's trading now, but is it going to continue tomorrow? Is it going to continue the next day? And that's what you need to ask yourself, guys. But here we go. In some Google, starting to recover here. We didn't get stopped out, so looking pretty good thus far. I think at this point, if the market continues to rally, I mean, that volatility is really starting to step up here in the market. So I think that we can get a breakthrough Google, especially with some, especially if we round about. What do we got over here?
Neil, man, he's enjoying that.
Oh man,
way too.
Wow,
much.
pull it
Neil,
up, bring it over here,
bro. That reaction was 100.
Okay.
Get it, Neil.
Sean just did the what's for lunch. I don't even remember what kind of chicken it is, some Indian spice or whatever. It is ridiculous. It is so good. I don't mean to do this to you guys because I know like, maybe you're trading and you're not eating right now. I got my lunch in front of me.
Don't worry about
it. But
that.
it is absolutely delicious. And on top of that, let me try to show you this too. It's like the salad. It's got like this little stuffed chicken in my salad. It's kind of. Can you see that?
Oh, they can see
There's
it.
Stuffed chicken, some like
Just make sure it doesn't
some
fall.
like cooked onions in there on the salad. Yo, they're stepping up their game today, so I'm enjoying it right now. I mean, and it came early. Like usually, it's a little bit closer to lunch, so I'll be nice and fed for the lesson of the day. And the lesson of the day is hit the like, hit the subscribe, because the more you grow the show, the better food we get to eat.
Damn.
And you know I'm always hungry, everybody. I'm always hungry. I'm born. I was just telling Brankles, man, with the rehab and everything, like getting in some more activity. So I'm always hungry. So, no, seriously, hit the like and subscribe because we have a great community out there. This chicken really is good. I'm just throwing it out there.
Ram's like, I still got raw tuna. Help! It's because you're mean to the lunch lady, like you're mean to everybody else. Ram, that's why. All right, guys, we're doing real well on
can't-
SMCI over here.
we can't be
just
doing that,
popped
man.
up into the $0.75, Joseph. So please, as dang punch with this trade as Adaro. So we're going to throw something in the mid-90s here, come what may. I think we took out a 60 penny level that I perceive to be maybe as a little bit of resistance. There's a lot of interactions here with 60 pennies. Now we're squeezing into 70s. Let's see what this one does. Definitely holding on to some shares here. Joseph, did you see this? Adara sent this to me.
No.
There's a new bill targeting your friend Elon. He's raising the ire of people in Washington, Joseph. They don't like what he's doing.
No.
Okay? He's cutting too much. He's sticking his nose in places where they don't want it, Joseph. And so here's what's happening. So non-petty are they that they didn't name the new legislation after him at all. So it's not called, where the hell is the name of this thing? Where is this, Adara? Eliminating looting of our nation. In other words, ELON, Eliminating Looting of Our Nation Act by mitigating unethical state kleptocracy. Elon Musk, M-U-S-K. This is hilarious, dude. I don't even want to read the bill. I think
petty,
reading the bill would ruin like this. This is hilarious, bro. All right, eliminating looting of our nation by mitigating unethical state kleptocracy. I'm just throwing it out there. It's a nice little bill there. We'll have to see how it ends up doing. Joseph, here we go. We're gonna get taken out on SMCI, and there is the trade. We get printed at 94s. Pleased as dang punch with this trade. Let's see what it does with 32. We're still holding on. No, actually, we're out of this trade. So let's see what we do at 32. So SMCI, guys, moving back to the high side. Hamada, look, it's not funny what Elon is doing, plain illegal. Brother, I didn't really want to get into the whole thing. That wasn't the point. The point was just to really show you the name of the bill. I get, he's really aggravating a lot of people that don't want to see the cuts and him sticking his nose in, government data because they feel there may be conflicts of interest, and they may have a point. But that wasn't really what I was trying to tell you about that. What I was trying to tell you is the name of the bill was quite funny. All right, so we're still holding on to some SLXN here, Joseph. It's zigging and zagging. We got the print at 66, but we're still waiting for the move to the high side.
Hey, good luck there. BBA. I know a lot of people in the chat are going on about this thing, so we're going to pull it up and see what we got going on with Big Bear. Continuing to the top side, guys, looking really well. So, wow, we're up quite a bit. Let's see what we got from a percentage metric off these lows, folks, on BBAI. So up 31%, a little bit more than that on the session. So that trend seems to be intact. A lot of bottoming tail candles here. So can there potentially be some more top side on this thing? Wow. Okay, we're gonna zoom out here and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. Big Bear AI just absolutely blowing through some key resistance levels. Printing a new, is this all-time high, folks? Oh, we're almost, no, not even close to there, but we're a big-time recovery on this thing. So if you guys have been involved in this for quite some time, then congratulations to you. This thing looks like it's working really well, especially on today's session. Look at that price expansion here, guys. So that average true range really starting to pick up here in Big Bear AI. So, good look there from everybody who's been trading this. I personally, these stocks that are under like $15, I usually don't look at them enough. But with this quantum coming in with Rigetti and all these other companies and Big Bear AI, how could you not? So really good look there. Maybe we'll look for some continuation on this thing another day. But as for today, I don't think I'm going to be trading it unless we have a potential short signal on the intraday time frame. So what I would look for up here, guys, if we were extremely extended, I would want to see somewhat of an inverted hammer or somewhat of a hanging man candle with an isolated volume signature to take this thing back down. But as of right now, it's not looking like the shorts are going to show up today. So keep those pants on, I guess, and continue to hold this position here on Big Bear AI, guys. Let's also see what we got going on with Google. We're rejecting VWAP once again, but Apple is continuing to climb higher, as well as the broader markets here too, folks. So, those putting in a new high a day, this might drag Google up with it. So, as well as NVDA, and I was talking to some of the boys this morning, and I'm like, referring to Apple, I'm like, okay, yeah, iPhone sales aren't doing the best in China. They're down year over year or whatever it may be. But these guys have 98 billion in free cash flow. So that's saying essentially after everything is said and done, CapEx and everything along those lines, these guys have 100 billion in free cash. That's essentially unlimited money. So no wonder this thing always gets continued to get bought up. And the same thing with Google. They got around 50 billion in free cash flow and all these top names. So when you have that much money on the sidelines to do whatever you please with, these companies just get bought back up, and that's the reason why they're the top of their class, I think, Sharif.
Well said, Joseph. I mean, that's I think pretty much the reason.
Yeah.
They don't have to go into the debt market to raise money at higher rates. They got their own cash, which is why small caps get smashed in higher rate environments. That's kind of the look. Guys, Neil just called out Meta to me, and he's got a bang-on call there. It looks like we defended 700. Obviously, we did wick below. We went to 699.01, but we're well above that now. Meta, kind of V-shape retracing off that 700 breach. So keep your eye out on this one. The closing print on Meta, we're negative on the day technically. It's about 704 and a quarter. So we're still below that level right now. Meta still negatory on the day, but a great recovery off that $700 touch and bounce. So we're going to keep an eye on Meta here. And chat, you guys know these sometimes these derivative products. Is there a Meta, like a cheaper version of Meta that I can trade? I know that there was one.
Yeah.
Say that again, Adara. FBL, Facebook long. I like it. There it is. Thank you, Adara. The volume on this monster, okay.
It's not the most liquid. It's not too liquid either.
It's a 4-penny spread, but I think it's probably a lot better than the 110,000 penny spread on Meta. No, I'm kidding. Keep an eye on this one. So FBL, if you want to trade a bit of a cheaper product and indirectly trade Meta, obviously, but keep in mind that it's done about 500,000 shares, so it's a little bit less liquid. I'm keeping an eye on Meta here. I could absolutely be persuaded to weasel into this trade. Good luck right now, because we know Meta's been a dang rocket ship. Just because it's down on the day doesn't mean a whole lot. It's been putting in higher lows and higher highs for the better part of a while now, Joseph. SMCI is taking out 32, and so this is the level that I want to look at right now, because there was a lot of interactions with 32, and so far still on SMCI, Joseph, we have lower highs. So we have that area crest above 33, then we have that 32, and let's say a third, a quarter, and now we're trying to work above 32. So that lower high, lower low situation that we've been in for the past, I don't know how long, almost hour, could change if we put in that higher high right now. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on SMCI, see if we can weasel into this trade. Let's have a look at SLXN. It's doing bupkis right now, to be honest with you. We'll talk more about that when we get back from Adara at the big desk.
I think given all the Elon Musk talk we just had, I think it's a good time to debut our brand new TTV Research graphic here, and it just got posted on X. This has to do with the many businesses that Elon Musk has involved himself in over the years, because there is a lot of talk from market participants that, will Elon Musk be able to focus on Tesla given all the business he's been involved in? But he's really always been busy in that regard. So I had this graphic here. You get to see the revenue in gray and the stock price here in this white line, how this has grown despite all of the many interests here of Elon. So we had this, we're starting here with the IPO 2010, first year that we get the revenue and the stock price at year end. And I mean, in 2015, we had the co-founding of OpenAI and the first ever successful first stage landing for SpaceX. We had Neuralink, we get the Boring Company, we get the purchase of X for $44 billion here, formerly known as Twitter. We get Neuralinks. There's a lot here along the way here, including his new appointment as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency. And yes, that is his actual logo, just this dollar sign. So if you want to look at all of Elon's many business interests alongside the growth of Tesla as a company, take a look on X at TTV Research. I just thought it'd be interesting to look at this because there have been a lot of concerns like, will Elon be able to focus? And he's clearly been doing that and then some over the last 14 years already. So interesting stuff. Take a look at that, guys. Back to you.
Get it, Elon.
Go. You gonna blackmail me with money?
Hi, Bob.
Yeah. You're gonna
Hey,
blackmail.
Bob.
You're gonna
You
blackmail
should've seen, like,
me?
Sorkin was like
You're
a deer in the headlights.
You're gonna blackmail
Like, what do I do?
me? You're gonna
What do I
blackmail
do?
me with money?
Yeah.
That's funny stuff. But yeah, guys, here we go. Big Bear AI still climbing higher. NVDA also putting in a new high day as well, too, folks. So looking really well, dragging the overall market with it. And some heavy volume just came into the SPY as well, guys. So let me know if you've seen, you see what I'm looking at. But we took a little bit off here, trimmed a little bit. So as Sharif liked to refer to as just wetting the beak there on that trade. So here we go. Let's continue to monitor some of these strong stocks, and hopefully Google will really start to pick up some steam. I think if we can break 190 and that volume steps in, we're going to get somewhat of a recovery here on the session. In Google, still down about 8%. So, I mean, I think there's a long way this thing can go to the top side. I think it's going to continue to climb, even though right now it may not seem it. We had this really tight consolidation phase here, guys, where I was just chopping around in this range, and it's quite orderly for a consolidation phase, but now heading into that 188 where there's some key support, so be aware of a potential lick grab, but then this thing just continuing to move to the top side. So yeah, like I mentioned, man, just the free cash flow on these companies is just too high. You got to buy the dips on them, and I think eventually they'll just start to recover and climb higher. There's too much going on for Google. There's so many things for Google. I don't even know all the companies and everything that they're involved in. Like, it's just like I forget a couple of them. It's like, oh yeah, they're doing that. So yeah, that's what I think about Google and companies.
All right, let's talk a little bit. Say that again, Neil. NVIDIA, 120?
Yeah, 124.
124 incoming right now on NVIDIA. High a day. It's up 4.5%. 123.99 HOD. Let's bring in the side chart and chat about it. I was going to talk about Google's earnings. Well, we can do that later when things slow down a little bit. But there it is, NVDA, baby. It's having itself a day right now. So we're still dancing with that 144, but it's been one hell of a pattern. I mean, you guys called it out in the chat when we went live on the show. Right at 8:30, this thing was really moving, and it was taking out the pre-market high there, yesterday's high at 121 and let's say a quarter there. That was the yesterday high, so we break through that. We've been looking higher highs and higher lows. It's an aggressive upward channel. It's been getting farther and farther away from VWAP, and what I mean by that is each successive trough, which is the pullback, is a little bit higher and higher away from VWAP. There goes 124, 124.05, up 4.5%. Keep your eye out on this one. There's many different derivative products. And I don't mean options when I say derivative, guys. I mean like other kind of ETF leverage products that you can trade NVIDIA with. There's NVDL, NVDS, NVDX. There's a bunch of them. A quick Google search or go into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever the hell you want to do, and you can find out all about those ones. Okay, so we're doing really well right now. I'm pleased as dang punch, as Adair likes to say, on SLXN. Adair, we just took out the high of the day there, so we're looking now at 175. It's time to wet my beak here, Joseph. There, we'll take out some there on SLXN. I'm also involved right now in Aurora Cannabis. Now, let me tell you, my 525 didn't fill. So this one started getting away from VWAP and Aurora Cannabis, so I punched in at 29s. It did give me an opportunity to get in at 26, but it didn't hang out for that long. So I've got small share size here, and that kind of disappoints me a little bit, but we'll try to we'll do with the best we can on this name. So taking out some at the top there on SLXN. Shout out to Pretty Panda, who brought this to my attention, but I told him I was already involved. Pretty, you got to look at the position board, my man, because it showed that I was involved in this one. So that's what we're looking at right now. Dang it, BBAI is on one, Neil. It's about to take out $7, up 40 dang percent. Big Bear AI, no small cap gapper. I think this is, now north of $1 billion, is it? It was north of $1 billion. Yeah, 1.7 billion we're talking about. So this ain't no small cap gapper, but it's trading certainly like one. Lots of volume on Big Bear today. We've got 108 million shares traded, and we haven't even hit noon yet. So there's ample amount of liquidity on this name. Keep your eye out on that one. Okay, so here's what SMCI did. Sorry to jump in between these, but I'm trading all of them at the same time, so I do have to manage them. So I was waxing poetic about this lower high getting broken. That's what happened. Look what we did over here. We broke the pattern of lower high. We put in a perfunctory high there of 32.40 and change, but then we're coming back down into 20s. Is this the hold? I mean, Is this, just price action that people are seeing because we're coming into a resistance area, and then so you're getting some sell? So I'd like to punch in back into SMCI at this level over here, but it's not giving me that continuity above this area high. So let me think about that one. We're up big right now on SMCI, man, 10.25. It's not like the old days when this thing would move easy double digits on a daily, Joseph. But yeah, I'll keep my eye on this one. I don't have to jump into it too quickly.
Hey.
So that's what I'm looking at right now. What do you got?
So yeah, guys, Google, wow, absolutely just breaking through VWAP, as I mentioned. It looked like it was going to do, and this thing's starting to recover. So we're just trimming as we continue to appreciate. We were down over 8%. Now we're only down about 7.8%. So climbing higher is Google. Watch out for these key resistance levels here around that 190.20 level. But as of right now, this thing's starting to cook up really, really nice. And I do think it's only a matter of time until we start to recover. But we have a $2 super chat. What do we think about Tesla? Average in 380. Okay, now I was talking about this earlier. I feel like Tesla's like somewhat of a wind-up toy, right? Like you wind this thing up, it gets going and it's going for a period of time, but then when it dies, it's like absolutely dead. And I think Tesla is something along those lines, right? Like you can see that this monster run that we went on since November, and then especially after the election, but now we're just slowly starting to dwindle, heading towards some key support levels. I mean, we missed it. It didn't have the best earnings, and a lot of this is like pricing in like what robotaxi may or may not be, right? Because it's still a couple years away, and at this point, it seems Waymo seems to be leagues ahead of this thing. So I might have a little bit of an issue here with Tesla. It is one of my larger holdings in the long term, but I'm also positioned really well in this, so I can hold on through some of this volatility. But as of right now, in my opinion, Tesla is kind of like that AMD play. I'm not going to put it on the same scale of it, but it's just not overly in play. A lot of choppy days. That average true range is really starting to tighten up, so you're not getting those buyers stepping in and getting those really big sessions. I think we're going to need some news catalysts in this thing to get it going again. I do think it will, especially with Elon's doing with Doge. But I mean, at this point, do you really want to be trading it down here? Sure, you could be selling some covered calls or doing whatever, but from an intraday perspective, I think there's better vehicles to trade, Sharif. I don't know how you feel about that.
Oh yeah, I definitely 100% agree with that. Yeah, no question about that. All right, guys, let's talk about this earnings report here, because we're involved in a trade, but we're going to let both these trades cook right now. So Alphabet's earnings were quite interesting. So they had a revenue beat, right? Which was, a revenue miss, excuse me, which we're talking like peanuts when we're looking at the overall number. 96.47 billion is what they brought in. The street wanted 96.56. So you can kind of get the idea there. Very small miss. The earnings per share, though, they beat. So they were able to shore up costs and keep things under control. They printed 215. The street wanted 213. Net income, guys, they took home in profit. This is profit. $26.5 billion on the quarter. What are we doing wrong, Joseph? We need to be making this kind of money, obviously.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.
Right? So that's a lot of money to take home. That's profit. Good look there. YouTube ads continues to grow. A little bit shy of $10.5 billion in revenue. The street was looking for 10.25. So that's a decided beat right there. It's the cloud, and I put that in green, that missed, because Google has been consistently taking market share away from Azure, away from AWS. Not market share, but sorry, that's the wrong way to phrase it. They were growing at a faster rate than AWS and Azure, because, well, those two platforms were kind of already a bit more mature. Google Cloud was more the newer entrant, obviously. That missed. 11.96 billion. The street had a lofty expectation of about 12th and a 5th. They did grow, though, 30% year over year, but when we juxtapose that to, I think, what Amazon or Microsoft grew, I think they were at 33 or 32. So technically, they're outgrowing Google now, even though Google is the third largest. Traffic acquisition cost, they were able to print a little bit less than what the street was looking for. Advertising growth revenue, though, this was not a good look. It slowed to 10.6% for this year. Compare that to a year ago, and it was growing at 11. This is the bread and butter of their business, advertising revenue growth. So it's slowing down. It's not negative, but it's slowing down in terms of in terms of growth. To build on your point, Joseph, investment plan, that AI, that CapEx, baby, they want $75 billion. So a bit halfway in between Microsoft and in between Meta. So they're kind of in the middle ground there. The street was looking for 58 and 4/5. So way, way higher than what the street was looking for. There you can see all the information. The Waymo expansion, though, Joseph, this is really interesting. They're going to expand to LA, San Francisco, Phoenix. They're going to launch in Austin and Atlanta. They even got Tokyo in their sights. We're talking about the Jaguar I-Paces that are retrofitted to fit their model. I don't think they're profitable. And I think the I-Pace and all the gizmos and gadgets they got to throw on there cost a lot of money. So, yeah, I don't think that they're going to be as profitable as Tesla with the streamlined robotaxi. So that's just kind of my look there. Now, Google's announcement yesterday had the effect of bringing up Broadcom. And we watched that in real time yesterday on the Market Recap Show. We saw Broadcom spike when Google dropped their earnings, despite the fact that Google stock was going down. What the hell is happening?
Let's go, Google, man.
Get it?
Yeah, let's go, man. It's
Are you long goggles?
Yeah, I'm long goggles,
Joseph?
man, from 189.45.
That's a monster trade.
Yeah,
there,
let's
brother.
go, man. I told you it was going to pop. 30%, sorry to go back a little bit here, but 30% year over year growth in cloud, and you're going to sell the stock off? Come on. Yeah, CapEx is a little high, but these guys are 30% year over year. If any other company did that, they'd be soaring.
Tell those analysts,
Yeah,
Joseph.
tell them, man. That's why you buy the dip on these things.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with you. All right, guys, so when we were talking about Broadcom moving up when Goggles was releasing their earnings, there's a reason for that. So we know Google has their own proprietary AI chip. It's called the TPU, the Tensor Processing Unit. It's not NVIDIA that's making those TPUs. It's Broadcom. So they're expanding their business dealings with Broadcom. So it seems Broadcom apparently can grow about 60 to 90 billion dollars in more serviceable market from the likes of Google, who they're doing business with now, but they're also expanding possibly into Meta, ByteDance, Apple, and OpenAI. So Broadcom really, they're back above $1 trillion, and so they're looking to expand some of their business dealings with Google and the like. So that is how Google did yesterday. There was more I can say about Waymo because that overlapped with Uber's with report as well, because they were talking about how they were going to do things with Google there. Okay, so let's get back to some trading now. We're in SLXN. So this one dropped into VWAP, but I did have an order waiting at the volume weighted average price, and I got filled at 56s. That's why my cost basis dropped from 61 to 58. So we're in the money, but we're not taking any out here. Let's go ahead and take out some right over here because it popped. Nice move there. We'll layer some orders on this bad boy to see if we can catch some spikes on this you-know-what. All right, back now to ACB. This is at VWAP. So I've already put my stop below 510. It's going to have to hold up here. Now, VWAP may not feature here. If it doesn't feature, I'm looking at 5. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Oops, I just got to do like this. 1 second, because I just updated my platform today. Restore it. There we go. Okay, so let's bring in the side charts, and let me show you what I'm looking at. So we've got VWAP that was holding up at least on the way up. It may not hold up here though. If it fails VWAP, I'm out at 510, but I'm looking at getting back in at 5. The reason I'm looking at 5 is not just because it's the whole dollar and it could be psychological support, but you have a double top rejection at $5 in the earlier trading day. That's the kind of the pre-market high. We got into $5. We couldn't do any better than $5. So if we come into that level, that's the pre-market high, and I'd like to be able to weasel in there. All right, let's throw some orders now that we've got a bigger size here on ACB. And yeah, let's throw those out there. We'll see what we get. All right, and we won't get upset. Joseph, what's your look on that die?
Yeah, I'm just talking with Nakul in the chat. He's asking me, Joe, MSTR reports today. Do you think I should close my bull put spread, considering we were talking about spreads yesterday, today, and reopen after earnings? That's a tough play, man. You got, again, I can't manage your account for you, but what we can do is we can just talk about it. Like, how much in the money are you, and are you willing to give up some of those gains if MSTR decides that it wants to move to the top side, right? I mean, we heard Neil say, we know what their business plan is over there at MSTR, so And this guy's just raising an extreme amount of money and just buying more Bitcoin. So that's a tough one for me. I don't know if I would, like, MSTR isn't something I'd be looking to play, to be honest with you. And that's just me. I would rather just get involved with spot Bitcoin itself at that point. But just ask yourself, like, if you're in the money on that trade, are you willing to accept the fact that, hey, it may go more in your favor? Or are you willing to accept the fact that, hey, I have gains here, but I could potentially lose them? And then whatever you weigh out the pros and cons of those and then just accept whatever one you favor most, I think. If you have multiple contracts, I mean, the classic saying, no one's ever gone broke taking profits. So, I mean, do that and maybe you'll be happy if you have multiple. But again, I think that's really up to you on what you want to do and where you stand in that position. So also expiration is key too. If you don't have that much time, maybe walk away with some of the money that you have or close half of that position. That's just my opinion. I know I've been talking about it. I closed some of my IBIT position the week before, and you know what? I'm at peace, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy that I sold that, locked in some nice gains, and then waiting for the next trade. And what do? We buy some NVDA at 118. I mean, there's always going to be another trade, guys. So don't get too attached to those positions. Official Unburdened and I were talking. It's like, yeah, just lock in those gains and find that next trade because they will appear. Just like Google, I know 2NY was talking about, hey, I just grabbed some more Google down here as well, too. So congratulations to you on that one, 2NY Cent. So appreciate that look. But guys, Google's just roaring. And we were talking about this not too long ago here. I said, if we break through VWAP, I think that volume's really going to step in and we're going to start to recover on the session. So we're only about negative 7.3% now on the session. So I like this look here on Google. And yeah, no problem, Nakul. Hopefully you take some profit and then just reassess the situation, man. You can always find another trade and probably a better one at that, brother.
Absolutely. Well said, Joseph. All right. Keeping an eye on these trades right now. I was able to take out some profits here on ACB at 30s. I'm layering the orders. It's whiffling. It's waffling at VWAP. It's not giving it up, but it's not bouncing off it either. So we're not out of the woods. We're going to have to see how this one trades. Also, SLXN, still above VWAP, but I am concerned now with this break of the higher low situation. So here, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then it kind of all falls down right over here. So going to keep an eye out on this one. My out is the breach of the area low. The area low was put in at 1050 and the low there, 151. So we're going to have our stop at 149 on SLXN. Profitable on it, but definitely looking at doing a little bit better right now. What else we got over here? What else? Yeah, Big Bear AI. Okay, so this one breached $7. This is my missed trade of the day. I mean, I don't know why I wasn't punching in on this. I have this sick compulsion that I need a pullback in order to get in. You're getting one right now. So Big Bear AI breached 711, the high of the day. Shout out to Sev. 672 is where the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart is hanging out. And this has been very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average all morning. Now, we've got a topping tail candle, though, on the 5 that looks a little bit ugly.
I just shorted it.
You shorted Big Bear AI?
Because of that topping tail candle. I like that you're talking because I've seen it too. I mean, if it breaks the high, then we're at a dodge, right? But I like that for a potential topping tail.
Okay. There you go. Joseph short right now. The big beared one, and well, we're gonna wish him luck because, well, I'm not involved in it, so I don't feel bad taking the opposite side of the trade, but it's still holding at the 10 exponential moving average with a 711 high. Let's see how this bad boy ends up trading. Still looking at ACB for this one to hold at the volume weighted average price, looking for that curl, not forthcoming quite yet. How's my man SLXN doing? We're still basically flat on the trade right now, having already taken profits, obviously, but waiting for it to either bounce or give me that 152 add. But again, my stop goes below 149 on this. Let's see what else is moving because there's other names, obviously, that are moving on the day. SMCI, we mentioned, up 8.5%. AMD obviously got shellacked on earnings, but it has been putting in a decent trend, especially off the lows. This one is short sale restricted. So it's kind of harder. I don't want to say it's impossible, obviously, because nothing is impossible to short when it is SSR. So sometimes we get what we call an SSR bounce. I know Neil has an entire trade built upon that. So we'll keep an eye on AMD. It's above 110 right now. So it's taking out the whole dollar. It's taking out the $10 level. It's on its way up to 10 and a quarter. To go green, though, we got to get up to the lofty price of about 119.5. We'll see where this one ends up topping out. The 200 exponential on the 5 is at around 111, a little bit less than 111. So that's what I'm keeping my eye out on right now, Joseph. Shout out to Ozan. You're killing me, Ozan. Anytime I see your name in the chat, you're always yelling the same thing. Ozan Keeley. Is it Sealy or Keeley, Ozan? Let me know. Shout out to you. Joseph Wilson. What's on your side of the desk?
No, you know what? BK Stoney just mentioned something curious, Sharif. So we're going to have to modify our bet a little bit here, all right? So this is how I think this is my proposal to you, okay? So we'll read what he said first. So here's why Sharif's bet is better than Joe's. If Sharif wins, IBIT will be at higher, so he will receive more money from Joe than if he loses because IBIT will be lower.
We're not modifying the bet, Joe.
Bro, what do you mean? No, we have to modify.
We shook on the bet.
No, we shook
twice.
Okay, yeah, but dude, we have to modify.
The contract's been executed.
No, we have to. No, it's a smart contract. No, we're gonna modify the smart contract. We're gonna modify it here. No, but if I'm right, you have to pay me the IBIT as if it were to be at 125K.
I'm
right?
not doing that.
What do you mean?
The contract has been signed, sealed,
crazy.
delivered, Joseph.
PK Stoney, you just caused complete chaos because you're absolutely right in this one. I think we need to do that. We're going to have to get some lawyers in here now.
Bro, when you go to the dealership, you strike a deal for the car, you think you got a good price.
Okay.
You get home, all of a sudden on your phone, you get a notification that there's a cheaper version of your car.
Yeah. So I'm bringing it back.
You already signed, bro.
30 days, bro.
No, there's no 30 days. There's no cooling off period in Ontario, bro.
I see that. So is that how it's going to go? You get it at the price of 125, and then I get it at... No, I just think at 125, so if it's not above 125, then I get it at the price of as if it were to be at 125, because you would get it at the price of 125, right? So
how about we kind of split the difference?
Okay.
So how about we do a range from 100 to 125? We'll take 112.5.
Okay.
How about that?
I'm cool with that.
112.
Yeah, I'm a fair player, man.
Okay. All right. Look, we can change this. I get what you're trying to say. What you're saying makes sense.
Yeah.
What you're saying makes sense.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Hey. We signed it.
We signed it. The smart con. You can't go back on the smart contract, guys. All right, so here we go. Good times, man. Jordan,
we're having a good time.
Yeah,
guys.
great time. Yeah. We're just trimming some off Google here as well, guys. But let's take a look at this Big Bear AI trade that we got going on. Because as soon as Sharif mentioned it, I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get involved in this thing just now. And then sure enough, let's see, BBAI, oh my days, tab, NY. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I was thinking on this, was that topping tail candle up there. And I said, we have definitive risk now, right? Like if it breaks the high, we're going to get out of dodge on that trade. So, but as of right now, Sharif, looks like we're working. That topping tail candle seems to be in play. We're up about 38% on the session. I don't know how deep this pullback is going to be, but we'll take it as far as we can and just slowly peace out as this thing continues to move to the south side. So, but a lot of people were saying that the short float in this thing is pretty high. So, very interesting stuff where it's only a matter of time that will tell if we're either going to continue higher or continue to the southeast.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's have a look at what else is moving over here. Well, my stocks ain't moving right now, except the fact that ACB still holding up at the volume weighted average price. That's the good side. The bad side is we're continuing to put lower lows and lower highs. So I am concerned a little bit about ACB holding up at VWAP, but my plan stays the same. If it breaches that 510, I'm out, that 505 area, which is the area trough, I'm out, but I will be looking at that $5 to hold up because that was the pre-market high. It did reject that level in the pre-market. We'll have to talk more about that though. Quickly, we'll send it to Adara, but I want to shout out Nick Dub, OG, Super Chat $9.99. Wanted to show the channel some love, sitting on a big winner on BBAI. Target is $10 to $12. Love AEYE, and serve SERV for their swings. Shout out to Sharif. Thoughts on SERV compared to Sound on daily? I will give you my opinion on that, Nick Dub. We're just going to throw it to Adara, and we'll get back and talk about that.
This part of the show is brought to you by Prop Firm Match. Are you a skilled trader but lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K, and you can start with as little as $20. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. So scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. And no matter where you're trading, if you were able to kind of get this push to the upside, it's a great look here for the NASDAQ. This is a 15-minute chart. We have not had a red candle in now 5 candles. So great look for the NASDAQ, going from sharply red to green on the day. SPY also green on the day, though slightly less so. And of course, a lot of the weakness in the NASDAQ was initially inspired by 2 earnings misses, or I guess poorly received reports. That would be Google and that would be AMD. Tonight, we get even more earnings. We've got Amazon's tomorrow. We have ARM, Qualcomm, Ford tonight, so stay tuned for that. We also had some Fed speak. We're going to get a little bit more here at 2:30 p.m. with Fed's Goolsbee, and then I get at 3 p.m. with Fed's Bowman. But Fed's Barkin here basically saying that he thinks the economy is in a state where it's pretty healthy right now. We're going to have to wait and see if that stays the case. But good look for the markets today. And also a lot of these tickers having this pretty interesting move. This is Oklo. A lot of these nuclear names were really strong. I saw no catalyst beyond the fact that they just have really, really large short floats and a lot of people interested. But yeah, I mean, we get this push to the downside, I guess ending around 11 a.m. and then they push higher. We got Palantir looking pretty similar there, though Palantir is rejecting a little bit still, as is MSTR. So this drop and rebound is the story we're seeing with a lot of tickers right now. Be aware of that pattern because it's certainly happening in the market today. But you know what else is happening? As mentioned, earnings. This is our earnings graphic here from TTV Research on X. Tonight, we do have ARM, Ford, Qualcomm, and Symbotic, which recently got a move on a Walmart-related deal. MSTR as well here. I was seeing their supposed to report yesterday, but they're reporting today. But then tomorrow morning, also a pretty big earnings day. We have Peloton, we have Hershey, we have Roblox, we have Eli Lilly, we have Tapestry, and we have Philip Morris International as well as Honeywell. So check out those earnings. We will give you all the details on those. And in the meantime, we're going to give you Neil and his lesson of the day. No longer eating a chicken wing, maybe. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. The lesson of the day is always read the fine print. And, okay, not really, but I have to opine on the little bet that Sharif and Joe have going on there. And you know what? Kudos to Sharif for splitting the difference there and deciding that he wants to do that. But, you know, whenever you get into any endeavor, like, look, let's say you make a trade, right? And you think you cross in with an aggressive limit order on a breakout trade, breaking out at $100, and you cross $1 for the spread, and you're thinking you're going to buy like 101 cent or 2 cent. Like you put a limit order that crossed all the way to 101. If there's a liquidity vacuum, you could get filled at 101. Like that is the price that you bid on that order. Just because it's a ton of slippage and you might not like it, you still put that order in and hit enter. We've all been there. So I'm not harping on Joe or anything. But yeah, that bet, it obviously does favor Sharif. No questions asked. And I get it. It would be a little bit more fair to make an adjustment so that the notional is the same in both directions. But life isn't fair. Trading's not fair. Everything is never going to be fair. And that's just how it is. Now, what I wanted to say the lesson of the day is I want to talk about opportunity cost. And A+ and B+ trades and A ideas and B ideas. The day is going to constantly change, and what started out as the stock that you like the most doesn't necessarily have to be the stock that you like the most by the end of the day. However, there are certain circumstances, I'm going to use NVIDIA as my example today, where if you start out liking a long and you're taking shots at it and you're focused on it, notice how I did not trade NVIDIA from 10 o'clock to 11:40. When you're taking shots at it, okay, it broke trend. Fine, still a stock that I'm focused on. Why am I not trading it when it still holds along? It holds VWAP, it holds higher low. I don't take it till a breakout of 124. Nothing about it stopped being a long trend idea on NVIDIA, yet I got away from it. I'm up on NVIDIA, but then why is it not much better than it could have been? Okay, you could have had a couple of longs in there. That's fine, you can't catch every trade. Here's the problem. Intel, which wasn't a part of my plan. I went over and like everybody was talking about Intel, and you saw me say like 5 times, oh, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal in the short term. Maybe it's going to run into a resistance level and be a fade. So I kind of said to myself, if it's going to do a revert off of here, I like reversion trades. This is going parabolic. I don't like the fundamental part of this move. Let me take a couple of shots at this. Well, focusing on that, get in, stop out, get in. Don't know why I added there. Stop out at the local high. Those are shots that we could have had in NVIDIA if I'm more focused on NVIDIA. And I'm purposefully not talking about Meta off the bottom, which was a win, because that defeats the purpose. The purpose of this is I was looking at chip names, liked the long in NVIDIA, stopped focusing on the long in NVIDIA to go short something else that wasn't even part of the plan. Like AMD, that was part of the plan, so I don't mind trading that. You know, I can take L's on AMD with some shorts, win early, lose late, because we were looking at the 110 level to try. But I never thought about Intel as a short until the news came out. So there isn't a very good reason why I should jump away from NVIDIA, which is on trend and going higher. Where's my offer? Which is on trend and going higher. I was offering on the wrong side of 65. Which is on trend and going higher. To go over to Intel for the mean revert. I like the mean revert, but do it on a stock which was part of the action plan. And that's what you need to be able to do sometimes. If you don't have a reason to get out of a trade, don't get out of the trade. It's still on trend. You're holding it for a break of the trend line. It's holding above VWAP, so why are you stopping going long? Like if you're buying the VWAP dip on NVIDIA, why do you stop going long? It doesn't make any sense. I get it if you're PDT and you can only make one trade. But when you're at a prop floor, you're not. You know, and that's a miss. Probably don't take that one. But those are a couple of missed opportunities because we're not paying enough attention to the stock that was kind of the number one long idea for myself today. There weren't many stocks that set up for longs. There were lots of longs. The NASDAQ is up right now. There were plenty of things that are good longs, obviously. But there weren't many things in the morning that set up that way. And this was textbook. It was trending up. Had a positive story with the CapEx spend on Google. It not only, it did a breakout that failed initially, so you start out in red, but it holds VWAP and prior day high. That's what we like to call confluence, and all kinds of confluence. So you've got to be able to stick with these stocks. It's easy to get distracted by setups that are good, which is fine, but make sure it's better than the thing you were doing before. That's always important. It's easy I don't mind jumping around. I'll take any setup that's out there that's a positive expectancy. But you shouldn't move away from something which is still looking very good and is one of your top ideas of the day. And as always, let me go to this. TNT Frags in the chat just put this in. ARM is going crazy. So I like ARM. Go ARM. I got to pull this one up. ARM is up this much. ARM is going crazy. See, like this is, I wasn't looking at ARM, but this is a perfect example of if you were going long on ARM today, you never had a reason to stop looking at the long. That's what I'm getting at. This is actually a better chart than NVIDIA's chart. So shout out to anybody that happens to be long ARM. Great character from the TV show Cops. I love that show. Long ARM. What was it? Berserko. That's who it was. Berserko. Great character. Thank you, Sharif. But yeah, this is what we're talking about here. Don't necessarily get away from your A+ setups and your best trades when there's just no reason to stop trading them in the direction that they want to go. So there's your lesson of the day. And of course, always read the fine print and know what you're getting into when you make a bet.
There he is, Neil Roberts, every day around that lunch hour. Lesson of the day. Thank you very much, Neil. Eloquent, informative, and awesome as always. Guys, keeping an eye right now on ACB. So CGC is kind of running with ACB. They're both marijuana names. CGC's basically half the percentage up on the day as ACB. It's about 22%. ACB about 43%. So they're both at VWAP. They've both been holding VWAP for going on about 25 minutes, half an hour. But I am concerned a little bit because even though we're getting that VWAP hold, it's starting to look awfully flat bottom breakish. And the reason I say that is because we keep putting in lower highs while defending that 520 area where VWAP is. So I don't think I'm going to stay in the trade for that much longer. We're profitable on it. I don't want to give it back. But keeping an eye on ACB. We'll talk more about that when we get back from Adair at the big desk.
Keep an eye on Meta and Snap here. I'm seeing reports from the Washington Post suggesting that the Chinese owner of TikTok, or ByteDance, I guess here, apparently they seem to be, quote, slow rolling some of these negotiations for a sale, but they're still waiting on confirmation or a green light, the okay there, from the Chinese government. So it looks like there are still some attempts here to sell TikTok. We know they were given 75 days. That was as of January 20th. That happened, so we're going to have to wait and see here. But the time on TikTok is certainly running out, and it seems like they are trying to negotiate this sales deal, guys. Back to you.
This looks like awfully program bias on the dead one.
I agree on that one. Yeah, so Shreve's just showing me some Apple here, guys, continuing to climb higher, looking good. And I was talking about this not too long ago. When you have $100 billion just sitting in free cash there, just buy this thing at any dip possible, in my opinion. So here we go. I mean, like, look, you can see we were put in this really lengthy consolidation phase, and then we broke out. And I think that had a lot to do with just net inflows into the market and Apple being in so many different ETFs. We're going to have to get out of BBAI here, Shreve. I'm going to send it to you for a second.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Big Bear AI, guys, continue. Look, it held the 10 exponential like a dang T. Big Bear AI did have that topping tail candle. I know that's why Joseph got into it, and that's usually a pretty good sign with these names that, you know, sellers may be taking control of the trade. But this one looked like it was just a 2 or 3 candle pullback. It ended up still defending the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and we're continuing on our merry way. This one hasn't closed anything below that 10 exponential, Joseph. I mean, literally actually hasn't. Since in the pre-market, I mean, it started getting going there. The volume started coming in at 9:15, and it really hasn't looked back since. It defended VWAP at times as well. So Big Bear AI is on one today. It's doing the dance right now with $7. Let's see how this one ends up trading. I'm still involved in ACB and SLXN. SLXN straddling VWAP here, but there isn't too much in terms of small cap gappers today. There was RNAS and CPIX. Let's bring those in and talk about them, because I was trying to weasel into some of those trades, but they're both below VWAP right now and not tradable under my system. RNAZ, here it is. Let's have a look at this bad boy. So there's the volume weighted average price. We get that big spike up, was up 60, it's up 63% right now, was way higher at the top there, but it gives up VWAP, can't hold it. I can't trade it until it gets back above the volume weighted average price. We'll keep tabs on that. CPIX is the one that was working its way into VWAP, and then it just, you know, looks like it's going to reject it right now. Nice move back up off that $4.40 area, reclaims 5, works its way back up into 5.25, but now we're putting in a red candle and looking like we're going to give back the move above the volume weighted average price. So I'm keeping my eye on CPIX. If it can stay above VWAP, if it can work its way above VWAP, give me a couple of closing prints at least above that level, I'll get involved. The pre-market high for CPIX is around that 485. So we already decidedly took out that level on the pop up into the high of day at 643. So I don't need to worry about my first rule. What I need to worry about right now is my second rule, which I won't trade these small cap gappers as a long south of VWAP. They have to be trading above the volume weighted average price. Otherwise, I just don't get involved as a long. And I don't typically short these small cap gappers at all. Very seldomly. So holding ACB at VWAP, holding SLXN, looking for a spike back up, but none is being had at the moment. I'm keeping my eye on the scanner over here to see what else is popping off, but it's a light day in small cap gapper world. Now, if you're looking at ACB, you might as well look at CGC as well, because that's trading in sympathy with ACB. They're both marijuana names and they're both Canadian companies. Canopy Growth and Aurora Cannabis. So CGC's breaking down below VWAP. It got a spike up, I'm assuming, because it's trading in sympathy with ACB. It is. But Canopy Growth does report, actually. When does this company report? Is expected to show a fall in quarterly revenue when the report comes in February 7th. So CGC reports in 2 days. ACB, I saw somebody asking in the chat, reported this morning in the pre-market, which is kind of why I got that move up in the pre. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're still looking at those names. Let's have a look at the MAG. Apple's on one right now, Katina, man. It's putting in higher highs and higher lows. It looks like, I don't know how you feel about this one, Katina, man, but it looks like program buying at this level over here. Apple steadily moving up little by little. You know how Apple trades. It doesn't trade as a parabolic name. Very, very seldomly does it do that. But there, looks like a predictable trade with nary a red candle since 11:15. So it's 12:19 right now. We haven't had a red candle in over an hour. It took out this 230 and a half area that we kept rejecting in the earlier time of day. I know the Katina man had a couple of banger shorts off that, but it ends up taking out that level there. And it's continuing on its merry way. Softy as well. Into that high day as it goes at around 413 and change. Yeah, so that's a look right now. NFLX. Oh, baby.
Oh.
Adara, did you see Netflix? Above $1,000 goes Netflix. We'll have to see if it can close out that level because it could not yesterday. So got into about $1,008, and then we gave pretty much all of it back, going down all the way to $978. Netflix, baby. It keeps putting in higher highs and higher lows, Joseph. Good look for Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, I like Netflix. I like Netflix for the long term, especially. You know what's going on with WWE and all this live sporting events going on over there, guys. So that is Netflix. But yeah, here we go in some Google. I just took off the shares on here, so the 5 minutes, so you can actually see what was going on and where we entered in at. And here we go, around that 189.20, and then just continuing to the top side, guys. Is Google. So this pullback, I like to see this volume dwindling on the 5 minute, which it seems to be, and on these lower time frames. So we're going to wait for price action to turn back around, and then maybe we can continue to the top side. But Pathik pointed out some valid points here as well. On NVDA, you said, Joe, check out this topping tail candle on the 15. And you're right, brother. I would like to see this a little bit more isolated. But then again, I don't really watch the 15-minute too much, so I don't know how it's going to react. But you can see it happen a couple of times here on the pullback. You get a pullback here on this hammer candle, the inverted one. And then sure enough, we're getting one here as well too, folks. So let's see if we get that pullback into VWAP because this thing has been strong. Talking to you guys, looking for 125, and we got almost close, 124.69 and change there on NVDA. But I think the market is strong, and if this pullback volume is relatively low, then I think we can continue to the top side. It may be somewhat of a grind, but I mean, nice trending market. We're going to just continue to try and follow it. But guys, wow, good thing we got out of that BBAI. Let's pull it up here. It has now breached those it has now breached those highs that I was referring to. It passed that topping tail candle, so it just blew through that. Now up over 47% on the session. So looking really, really good. Something you don't necessarily want to do is fight those trends unless you get those definitive reversal signals. And even if so, you got to follow those rules because if they don't work out, then you don't want to be caught in bag holding something short when it's just really going parabolic. And that seems to be the case here with BBAI, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Okay, QBTS, guys. Shout out to Jeremy Newman. I'm going to look at that one for you as well. Who was asking me? Ronak. He wants me to look at AMD. I'm going to look at it in a second. But QBTS up and to the right. You have OKLO as well. I know they're different. One's quantum computing, one's energy. But, you know, sometimes they move together because of the relationship with you know, the amount of power needed for the AI. I don't know if it's really quantum related, to be quite honest with you. So QBTS at the high of the day right now, 634, 632. 634 is a high day, trading at 632. This is the 5 minute right now on QBTS. Great look, very directional. You can tell it's holding up at the 10 exponential. A dip buy into the 10. I think this is a good directional trade. When you look at the local area highs, we're above yesterday's high. Looks like we topped out at 6.25, but Monday's high still eludes us. It's about 639, 640, so we could theoretically reject off that local high. I'm talking about QBTS. Let's have a look at the Advanced Money Destroyer. This one reported yesterday. Yeah, it's a bit of a tougher look. I love Lisa Su, man, you know, and obviously I want her to do well. I don't want there to just be one horse in the race. NVIDIA, we've seen Broadcom trying to weasel in the race as well. But AMD just can't get their MI300 produced enough to get any market share. And there's a reason for that. It's because Taiwan Semi-Dang Conductor makes like 80 or 90% of these advanced chips, okay? And they basically, NVIDIA is taking all their capacity. Now, we know there are new plants coming online in the near future. They're not online yet. Apparently, AMD has earmarked some of their production output for those new plants, so that will be saved for AMD. But until that happens, it's just we can only theorize and speculate about how they'll do. So AMD just can't produce the MI300 despite interest from these hyperscalers. You've got Amazon, Meta, they're all interested in that MI300X that Lisa's got cooking up over there at Advanced the Money Destroyer Labs there. So AMD, look, caught a bit of a what we call a short sale restricted bounce. As I mentioned, this is a trade where, you know, it's harder to get short because you can only get short on an uptick, meaning you can only punch short once the stock moves up in price. That limits the available time and or the ability to punch short. So sometimes you get a bit of an up move, and that's what we got right now. So it's interesting here, this level that we held. So the aftermarket low was about 106.5. And what's funny about that aftermarket low is it ended up also being the pre-market low. So we end up defending that level for whatever reason. That 106.5, 106 2/3 ended up coming into play. And now we're above that 110 area with an 111.61. This has got a good move up. I think that it may have some resistance at around this level over here. I'm talking about that 112.5 to 113 on AMD. So that's a look. All right. We took several outs there on ACB as it did pop off that, what's it called, the volume weighted average price. So we were able to sneak some outs there. I'm still concerned about this one putting in lower highs with a flat bottom at 520, hence why I'm settling for, you know, baby moves into the 30s to de-risk a little bit here on Aurora Cannabis. Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. A lot of people are talking about AMD here in the chat. Let's see what I know you're just talking about it, Sharif, but a lot of people are continuously going on. I mean, yeah, trading really well up to about 111. Entering that gap here from, from yesterday and selling off. So starting to fill quite a bit. And when I was watching it yesterday evening, while I was watching Sean, Adara, and Sharif on the show, I'm like, wow, this thing dropped all the way down to 106 and change there. So, remember that show 106 in Park? Is it still on? Is it still on?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good one. But anyway, so it went that low, guys, and now recovering. So, I mean, we talked a lot about it, just saying, hey, and what Brian Shannon said about it as well, too. It's just a dead stock right now, and I'm going to stick with that until it's proven otherwise. So we'll keep it at that. So, yeah, guys, continuing to hold on to some of this Google. You know that we got out of BBAI, so we'll see if we can get a little bit of a rebound. Maybe this is an add up here. I think it is, to be honest with you, on Google. So maybe we'll just dab a little bit there and see what we got going on, and maybe go and test this high again around 190, 150s on Google. So we're going to look for that continuation within the trend there, folks. And go with that, and there we go. So nice little add on that pullback on Google. See if we can get that leg higher. Let's see what we also got going on for top volume on the session, guys. And usually the king of the party is NVDA, and it still is today. We know we had that switch up with Palantir yesterday, putting in a lot of volume, rightfully so, on an absolute blowout earnings report the evening before. So really good look there on NVDA. So 152 million shares traded on the session. AMD in second place with 73.2 and SMCI with 61.7. I know that I was watching SMCI the other evening and it just was popping out of nowhere, and I'm like, that's interesting. And Adara was telling me there's this looming, like, rumors about the looming report. So that is interesting to see. But guys, yeah, let me know what you guys are looking at in the chat, and we'll be sure to go over it. Let's see if we can get some of this pullback here on Google. I think that buyers are going to continue to step in. We're still down a whopping 7.5% on the session, and I think a company this good is eventually going to get bought up. Is it going to recover all today? Probably not, but I mean, we can bite in a big chunk out of that and see where we can go from there. We're not close to the pre-market highs or anything along those lines, but we also have to take a look at it from a daily perspective, and we'll do that just now because you can see we're running into some key support levels, which is really important, but we're bouncing off them, and we formed this consolidation range in Alphabet here, guys. So I'm bullish on this thing. I think it's a buy the dip opportunity. I know Tom Lee would be like, yeah, it's definitely a buy the dip opportunity in Google and some of these other big names like Amazon as well too, who have been selling off. And Brangles and I were just talking about NVDA earlier as well too, being down to 114. If you could catch those bottoms, I think that's definitely a really, really good long-term play there, my guy.
All right, man. I'm thinking about going long on the dead one, Apple, right now. And the reason is it's pulling back into the 10 exponential moving average at around 230.75. And I'm simultaneously keeping my eye on the future. And the future is defending. I'm looking at the NQ March contract, just so you guys know. I'm looking at that 21,700 point level, which keeps defending. So we'll see if that level holds up and whether Apple wants to hold at the 10 exponential. I don't feel I need to be first. I don't want to just punch in because it got to the 10 exponential. That's not really the move here. Okay, we need a couple of things. One, I need to see definite proof that the 10 is featuring with Apple. And that has to mean a closing print above that. So that means I'm going to probably miss a better price because I'll wait for confirmation. And number two, I need to see the future hold up above that 21,700. So we're continuing to hold up above it right now. I'm talking about 21,700 on the NQ March contract. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm keeping my options open, not punching long, not punching short. We'll keep an eye out on this bad boy. I'm also looking at the big beared one because it's